Well, holy shit, look at that, chat. We're already at it again. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Stu, weren't you just doing this shit last night? What the fuck are you here again for? Well, it just so happens that we had another wonderful, fine gentleman, a strapping lad who decided to wander into the bar that we were going to have to talk to for a little bit and give a little bit of a chin wag. And so, you know me, I just can't resist when we have cool people wander into the bar. So I guess we'll start by introducing him, or I'm going to let him introduce himself to you. Tell him where you can find him. Link to his YouTube and his Twitter is going to be in the description. But pretend like they don't know who you are. Tell them about yourself. And more importantly, what the fuck are you drinking tonight?
Absolutely, dude. First off, thanks for having me, man. Stoked to be here.
Yeah.
I don't really get to go on other channels often. I used to go on Just Restart like 5 years ago,
Right.
on and off. And then I did a couple of Prime and eventually became one of the co-hosts. So I don't know. There's something cool about going on another show. So thanks so much for having me. Happy to be here. For those of you who don't know me, I'm GameBird Classic. I am a Nintendo YouTuber. I make Nintendo content here, but I also do a lot of weird, goofy, sometimes unhinged skits and a little bit of the comedy stuff. Not so much of a news channel. A lot more. I do a little bit of speculation, discussion topics. I've done a couple reviews, some unboxings, and then a lot of like goofy stuff. But yeah, you guys can find me here at GameBird Classic or on Twitter at _Birdmaster, and every Wednesday night on the Nintendo Byte podcast with Nintendo Prime, Thunderstash Gaming, and Eric Moore. Such a great time Wednesdays. But yeah, if you guys are interested in Nintendo stuff, I'm not as consistent as the other guys, but I do a lot more of like editing stuff and I don't know. I'm working on a skit right now that's like insanely unhinged and kind of dark. That's a lot.
Hey, you know what? Dark and unhinged. That's right up my fucking alley. So that's good stuff, man. So I will be looking forward to that. And yeah, you say not much news anymore, but who the fuck wants to be a gaming news channel these days, man?
Yeah, it's just not that fun. I do have actually I'll plug this. The first episode I haven't recorded yet, but I do have a new show coming to the channel that I hope to do once a month. It's going to be called Super Game and Tell. And what the show is essentially is every episode I have a special guest. And the guest comes on and we each bring 3 items from our video game collection, primarily focused around Nintendo, but it's okay if you bleed into the other spaces. And we kind of do a back and forth. Guest shows an item, talks about it, why it's special, why it's in their collection, what it means to them, their kind of history with the item. Then I pull out my first item, and we each do our 3 items, do the back and forth. And I don't know, everyone's got such rad collections these days. I'm like, I want to do a fun something like this where you're just kind of shooting the shit, but also sharing like these little key pieces of gaming history, whether it's from when you were a kid or, you know, when Switch 2 launched or PS5 launched. So
yeah, because people
I'm looking forward to that.
These collections, it's not just like every piece in the collection is also a story. It's a piece of history, and it's a little bit about ourselves, right?
Absolutely.
Yep. It's I got to tell you, it's that speaks to me. One of my favorite podcasts actually running right now is called Woolly Versus.
I'm not. No,
not Woolly Versus. Woolly Versus the channel. Versus Wolves. And Versus Wolves is a podcast. Got 2 of my favorite creators. It's John Walsh, who's known as Super Eye Patch Wolf, and Wooly, who used to be part of the Super Best Friends back when they were doing their thing way back in the dawn of YouTube. And basically, the 2 of them get together and they recommend something to each other. And then once a month, they get together and they talk about their experience playing this fucking thing. Whether it's a good recommendation or a bad recommendation, but like, so John will recommend Silent Hill 2, and Wooly might recommend Kill 6 Billion Demons, and they get together and they talk about it.
Right.
And
hell
it's
yeah.
like a whole
That's
podcast
rad.
devoted to that. It's a really, really good concept. Yeah,
That's cool.
It's a lot of fun. So, what are you drinking?
I almost forgot. Yeah. Right now I'm drinking some Angel's Envy bourbon. The bottle was actually a gift, and I busted it open for the first time for the show. So
hell yeah, that's awesome. I'm actually drinking bourbon here with you. What I have tonight is my mainstay. It's Blanton's.
There you go.
And if you've never had Blanton's and you can track down a bottle, it it used to be pound for pound the best bourbon on the planet. You could get a good bottle for $70-$80. Nowadays, thanks to John Wick, that asshole John Wick movie, where he drinks that, now
boy.
everybody, all the non-bourbon people, the bourbon yuppies are all in there, and now it's like $250 on the.
Oh yeah, and that's so a sick bottle though. I like the bottle.
Yeah, it's got a great bottle. It's got the horse on the top. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's a beauty.
Really way good cool. Bourbon. If you ever see one in the wild for market price, like $70-$80,
grab it.
Absolutely. And if you see two, grab one for me. I'll pay for shipping.
Fair enough.
I'll keep an eye out. I'm sure you can. I'm sure you just have to be careful.
Yeah, there's got to be a way to do that.
So, all righty. So, with introductions out of the way, I guess the first thing I always like to ask folks is, everybody's got their own gaming journey. What was yours?
Yes.
What got you to the point where you're just like, not only do I want to make video gaming one of my primary hobbies, but fuck, I want to talk about video games with other people. What was the origin story of GameBird Classic? What was that origin game, that entry point?
Yeah, let me actually grab something right back. I'll do a little show and tell.
Yeah.
All right. So my video games journey started when I must have been like 3 years old. I think I got a hand-me-down NES. With this game right here. Yeah. This same one right here from when I was a child. The OG Legend of Zelda.
There it is.
Obviously a game that was way too advanced for me for many, many years to come, but nevertheless one that spurred my imagination, one that I couldn't put down, and I played for years and years to come. It went on to become my favorite video game to this day, my favorite video game series of all time.
Good one.
And just the evolution of the series throughout the years too, like starting with this one and being such a diehard fan at a young age, and Link to the Past, which just like rocked my one of those moments when you're a kid and you're like, well, there's no way it's going to get better than this, but then you say that like every generation. So
I said it for a lot of them. And then to me, and it's funny because we had the same origin story. Hand me down NES. My dad brought it home from the army. He bought it from his buddy Hippie. His buddy was literally, I think his name was John, but I know he's Hippie. And him and my dad used to play games all the time, whether it was Atari or whether it was NES. And he gave my dad a hand-me-down NES. This NES had the following games. It had Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. It had Defender 2. It had Excite Bike. It had Contra. It had Super C. It had Donkey Kong Jr. Math. Can't win them all. And it had Legend of Zelda and Zelda 2.
Hell yeah, dude.
And so that thing, like, I often think of each game. So the thing that makes gaming what I feel like is the supreme medium in terms of entertainment.
Sure.
So with a book, nothing can excite your imagination like a book, because you're literally building the book in your head as you go. And movies can have that nice feel of like passive entertainment. But now with a video game, you are the actor on the stage. And so every single video game world is this veritable sandbox or toy box.
Yeah.
It's this world that you can lose yourself in. And
the ultimate immersion.
Yes. Nothing did it better than Mario, Metroid, and Zelda at the time.
Yeah.
Nothing did it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. In so many different ways, spurring imagination, obviously the gameplay and the fun factor, the music is a huge part of it. And like, I think about a lot of like the retro game music over the years, and man, the songs are so iconic and catchy across like all those old generations, but there was a limited space. So a lot of the songs you'd be hearing thousands of times, They didn't have like these huge sweeping soundtracks like we have nowadays. So while the music's beautiful today, I feel like we just don't quite get those iconic tunes that are just, you hear it once and it's in your head for
the earworms.
You know, yeah, the earworms.
The earworms are a lost art, and again, that's a great point. That we don't have these sweeping orchestral scores. They didn't have them back then, so every note, every single MIDI note had to count, and they made
Everyone.
it count.
But
And
you
then
know, someone pops on a tune from like Sonic 2 or Super Mario World or
you're there.
DuckTales. Like
You're
people
back
just
there.
know it instantly. You're teleported back in time.
Yes, 100%, man.
Yeah, it's
100%.
wild.
And each of those worlds, like it's something else. I feel like is only a few masters still doing it. Fuck, even Nintendo at times can't do it. And that's the world building aspect. Like I look at Mario, for example. And that's one of the things that, like, I'm playing Super Mario Odyssey right now. Sure. And it's one of the things that I actually think Odyssey does to a fantastic degree is it brings Mario back. Because, yeah, okay, with the 3D games, you're almost in, like, Bowser's Ninja Warrior Void course, where you're just platforming in the void. Where in the Galaxy games, yeah, you're in the Galaxy, but, again, you're in the fucking Galaxy. This is not the Mushroom Kingdom, the Mushroom World.
Mm-hmm.
Odyssey brought us back down to Earth to the Mushroom World. And showed us places we've never been before. People, denizens we've never met before. The fucking spoon people and the walrus igloo people and like the maraca mariachi folks in the sand. Yep. Very cool. Very, very, very cool. I just feel like a lot of games don't focus as much on the world building anymore. And I always told folks that. People are like, what the fuck does it matter? Mario doesn't matter for story. Okay, you can say that, but and I would agree for the most part that you only need an excuse plot. But what you really need is the world building that is the Mushroom Kingdom. Mario's not just a precision platforming; it's the blue sky.
Right.
It's a big portion of that. So Stephanie Bros says, "What's up, GameBird? What's up, Zoo? What's going on? Welcome in, Stephanie. Welcome in." Moscow Master says. Show her comment off there. Then Moscow Master says gaming news is pretty good right now. I get all my news updates from the TR announcement. That's Tamriel Rebuilt. And ignore everything else going on in the industry. Smart. Yeah, good man. Tamriel Rebuilt is a major modding project for the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, my favorite game of all time. At this point, they've been building this mod for 24 years. It's a lore-friendly expansion, whereas Morrowind only gave you one province of Morrowind. Tamriel Rebuilt's like, why don't we just build the whole fucking province? And they've been doing that over 24 years to lore and vanilla standards. And now they're actually better than vanilla standards because they've been working with the goddamn engine for 24 years now. They've been working with it longer than Bethesda ever did. And so the things they're coming up with are just incredible. So if you've never checked out,
I gotta check that out.
You gotta check out Tamriel Rebuilt. You want to talk about a game world? The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind is a game world.
It's one that I've wanted them to revisit. I was so excited when they redid or not redid, but kind of did like the remaster of Oblivion. I'm actually in the rare minority who likes Oblivion more than Skyrim. And I love Skyrim. I love that Nordic, like snowy mountain with the keeps and that like
Skyrim
Nordic
gains
vibe.
some things and it loses some things. And I would say the same thing about Oblivion. To me, like Baby Bear's bed and porridge is going to be Morrowind. But I think every person has their own version of that in the Elder Scrolls, and I think that's really fucking cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, it is a series that consistently garners fans. I can say that.
Although I am a little bit nervous about what's next for Elder Scrolls with Bethesda's a little bit of a track record lately.
Seems like nothing. It seems like nothing.
I know.
When
did we get that title card?
We got the title card, but Todd Howard just came out and said it's going to be years more.
Yeah, how long ago was that though? Because that was like 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
Yeah, it's been like 6 years, man.
6 years ago. Oh my gosh!
Maybe
that game has it.
Do that?
That game's barely started development. That's funny, dude.
Then Moscow Master says you probably should have chatted a bit before doing the introductions. Usually takes a little while for people to tune in. That's actually really good advice because it does take a little while for people to filter in. Let's see, Rush Dog. Speaking of which, Rush Dog says, "Evening, gentlemen. What's everyone drinking? Blanton's and Angel's Envy for for a GameBird Classic. So he's doing the. We're both bourboning tonight.
Hell yeah.
We're in a bourbon mood. So cheers. Yes. So getting back to Zelda.
Yeah.
A little bit of a fun, maybe a little spicy conversation because boy do I have opinions on the series I love, and I'm sure you do as well. That's one of the fun things about being another game.
Yeah.
Favorite Zelda and why?
My favorite Zelda is The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I know it's a divisive one. I loved it. I was one of the few rare people who loved it. I'll never forget coming to school. I think when Wind Waker got officially revealed, or like screenshots were shown in some gaming magazine, I remember. And I show up to school, and friends know that I'm like the hardcore Zelda kid, and
sure.
Telling me like, "Oh my god, did you see the pictures of the new Zelda? It looks horrible. This game looks like trash." And I remember seeing it and thinking it looked glorious, like a Saturday morning cartoon. Go ahead.
Here's going to be an amazing thing. So I'll start with the good news for you with me. Sure. I agree with you 100% on that. I, for the life of me, will never understand how an entire generation at that time looked at it. I mean, I get that Ocarina of Time had a little bit of a darker, more dark fantasy setting.
Sure.
Right? I get that. But at the same time, like, I can't imagine looking at those visuals, and I didn't at the time, and being like, this is garbage. This sucks. I don't like this.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's just, there wasn't like cell shading wasn't a popular game style. And that, like the staying power of the look of that game and how it still holds, like you take the GameCube version. I actually think the GameCube version looks better than the Wii U HD remake. Because,
isn't that funny how that happens sometimes?
Yes.
There's something it gets lost. It gets lost in the translation.
Yeah, they did too much. They did too much lighting that added a little bit more 3-dimension to the HD remake.
Yeah. That
dates it a little bit, where the other one has that, like, there's just like a perfect, like, cell shaded cartoon look that's just like timeless. But yeah, I think it was just jarring for people, and so many people have wanted Zelda to go for this more realistic, like you hear it all the time. Anytime they're about to announce a new Zelda, people are hoping it looks like Skyrim. They like want that photo. I've just never wanted that. Like, I don't mind if they get dark with Zelda. I think that's awesome. And I don't think it has to look like Skyrim for the game to get dark. We've seen dark stuff in Zelda. Majora's Mask is an extremely dark themed entry in the franchise for a lot of reasons. The art style, you don't need the art style to do that, but I don't know. I loved it off the bat, but there are so many things that I love about that game. And granted, I know it's not perfect, but the sense of adventure in that game, a lot of people give Breath of the Wild the credit of being like the first Zelda. Obviously excluding the NES.
I would say that if they say that, they're fucking wrong. Boy, are they wrong.
Yeah. That feeling of like, oh, you could just go wherever you want. And for me, Wind Waker was that. I mean, even you get the Deku Leaf, which was like the precursor to the sailcloth that you get in Breath of the Wild. But the music, that like the Celtic vibes of the music is just fantastic to me. And I gotta say, hands down, I think it's still to this day the best combat in the series. It's just really fun. I know it's easy, but it's really fun. And they made a great parry system where, there's enemies with armor strapped to them, and you could parry, roll behind, and slice the armor off. That way you can attack them. And I don't know, there's something really special about that game for me.
You're good at this, GameBird. That's the best case anyone's ever given me for Wind Waker. You're good at
I've got more cases. I mean, I think I mean, I think it's one of, if not the best versions of Ganondorf that we've gotten in the game.
Again, hard agree for all my attacks I'm about to do. Hard agree.
I mean, they gave us a villain who's not just a big brute who just likes to smash things and like, I'm just evil because I'm evil and I want to take over the world and destroy everything.
It's a villain. Tired. He was tired,
deeply nostalgic. Like it was, dude, that last scene in the game where it's raining and you're on the tower and you're finding out what happened and like the flood and how the king basically destroyed everything. It paints it to where it's like, oh crap, I feel like there's something resonating with this villain. It feels more morally gray now, almost like relating to comic books. Like one thing I love about the villain Magneto is like there's such a gray area, or Mr. Freeze from Batman. There's something like gray. It's not just like this black and white good and evil. And I really like that about Wind Waker.
Yeah, there's a reason why Magneto is one of the most memorable villains of all time, and only your hardcore X-Men people know Apocalypse. There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
And that is because there's something compelling about an evil you can understand. You can almost be like, dude, I with you. I get it, man.
Yeah.
But I can't go that far. There's something
right.
There's something compelling. Whereas, and again, that's like, you might think Magneto's a bastard till you meet Apocalypse.
Sure.
And then you're like, oh shit, he's not that bad. So I've always, you have to ground your villain in order for a villain to be an old timer. Yeah. Whether it's Darth Vader, whether it's Magneto,
sure.
Count Dracula.
And last point with the take on Ganondorf, and it's something I've been like begging for this in a Zelda game ever since, and we don't really get it very often. We get a little bit in Ocarina of Time, and I think you get it a little bit, or no, you don't get it you do get it in Twilight Princess, and Skyward Sword I think was the last time. But it's not just you get to the end and you face the bad guy. Like, I like a more personal story where the main villain is causing basically roadblocks in your journey, and you're having encounters with them along the way. And that happens with Ganondorf in this game. You see him for the first time in the Forbidden Fortress. You get your sister's captive. You return there. There's like multiple encounters, and you feel that sense of like, this person's a thorn in my side, as opposed to the one where it's like, oh, you hear about them, you know what they're doing, but you don't really face them or have any discussions or interactions with them till the final fight. Which, I don't know, it's cool, but I don't know. I kind of like that villain who's just like tantalizing you the whole time.
Yeah. God damn it. I'm gonna have to play Wind Waker again.
Yeah. Do it, my friend.
I'm gonna have to, because here's the thing. A lot of my recent gaming journey is coming to terms with some of my old prejudices in terms of games I like, games I don't like. Sure. I was a hardcore like arcade gameplay kind of kid. I like that tactile feel. So most of the games that I really gravitated to back in my early gaming days were that more fast-paced, like console games that did the best of both worlds, which is what Zelda was described as in a 1988 Fun Club letter. It's kind of the tactile feel of a good arcade action game combined with the larger worlds of a PC game. It's kind of what it did. But a lot of this is coming to terms with the fact that a lot of the games that at the time I was really bitter about a lot of things, not getting my 2D Mario, etc. And so now that I'm revisiting 3D Mario, having a fucking blast with it.
Hell yeah, dude.
Now that I've discarded some of those old prejudices at the time, right? Now I've like, if you were to tell me I would ever play fucking visual novel games, let alone that a visual novel game like 100 Line Last Defense Academy would be my fucking game of the year this year, I would have laughed in your Young Zoo would have laughed in your face.
Dude, I love visual novels.
I do too now. And there's something, maybe it's because I'm older. I don't know. There's something about just sinking into a nice hot tub or sinking into bed and just losing yourself in a good visual novel where you can just you don't have the high stakes of a game like Hades.
Sure.
And so,
well, there's something very appealing. I mean, I'm a sucker for the like whodunit type stuff, murder mystery, like the super twist and turns, those shocking moments, and like, I mean, it's a staple for so many of those visual novels,
It's so good. Yeah, I finished Danganronpa.
Yeah,
first time.
Fantastic.
Oh, holy shit, that's good. That is so stylish.
If you haven't played the man, I forget what they call the trilogy. I think it's like the Virtue's Last Reward trilogy. If you haven't, so like the first game is 999, They came out before
Man,
Danganronpa.
yeah, there's
They're
somebody in
fantastic.
me and Jay's community. Her name is Miss Mandia, who
Yeah.
Zero Escape and 999 are two of her absolute fucking all timers.
Yeah. They're phenomenal.
100%. But anyway, so back to Wind Waker. So
yeah.
I agree with a lot of what you're actually saying there. Music, fabulous. The graphics, I never understood the cry about graphics. That was never my problem with Wind Waker. The graphics were never my problem.
For sure.
The combat system, definitely the best designed combat system.
Sure.
Best designed. For maybe Twilight Princess has a good design too, which I hate to say because that's fucking tragic. There's another game that doesn't use its combat system at all, hardly.
I've got some big problems with Twilight Princess. I know I'm in the minority. That game's actually pretty low on my totem pole.
It's the lowest on my totem pole. You're not.
There you go. Hey, we got that in common.
Aside from like the fucking dog shit, fucking.
Oh God.
Philips CDI games, but is that even really Zelda? I don't know.
I don't think that counts. It can't count.
Yeah, it'd be hard to count.
That's sacrilege.
Yeah. No, yeah, again, Twilight Princess is probably my lowest one. Twilight Princess is the one that I feel like it had all the weaknesses that I throw at Wind Waker, and it had none of the charm. None of the fucking charm. It had the weird fucking weirdo NPCs, the evil baby and shit. There
was one moment in Twilight Princess where I was like, where it like clicked. I was like, oh, I get it now. This is the next gen Zelda. It's oh my gosh, I'm at a loss for the name. When your friend from your village gets kidnapped and you mount up on a horse and engage in like horse combat for the first time in the game, and it's playing the epic music, and you end up on the drawbridge, and I'm like, okay, this is rad. Like this is and then it has like they put in one of the coolest items ever to make it into a Zelda game, and it's the most underutilized item and has never made a return in the series. The spin top.
Spin top was cool.
It was cool. And you barely use it.
One dungeon, really. That's one of the things, and that's one of the ways I judge a Zelda. Actually, do the items have function in combat and function in exploration? They gotta have both. Most of them should have both. Look at Link to the Past. Look how fucking tight those items were. Yeah. Even the goddamn spell book. Yeah, you're using it to unlock a dungeon, but then it's also your fucking spell book for casting spells, right? Look at the invisibility cloak. I don't even think you fucking. I'd have to go back. No, you need the invisibility cloak. You don't need the ice rod or it's the fire rod or one of the rods you don't need. It's just in a fucking cave somewhere.
Yep.
Like it's so good. And so in terms of Wind Waker, so now to kind of throw some jabs at Wind Waker, that sailing.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh my God, that sailing. Like I would sell it, which was a good premise, but about the fifth time I landed on a goddamn island and it's just a fucking ruby.
For sure.
Fuck. The fact that I could go slap a fucking sandwich together after starting combat and come back and I'm not dead still. And again, what a travesty, because that combat system is so good as shown in that last fight with Ganon.
Oh my God, what a battle. Yeah.
It's an excellent fight.
It's so good. Yeah, no, those are valid. Hey man, those are valid criticisms. It's by no means a perfect game.
Well, and I was coming, and again, I'm not the biggest lover of Ocarina of Time. You want to talk about a fucking huge sin in this community. But Ocarina of Time to me is where the problems started. And what I mean by the problems is the fucking puzzle dungeon shit and the weird NPC fetch quests.
What do you mean by the puzzle dungeon shit? I'm just curious. Is it like
Zelda was about labyrinths?
Got it. Okay.
Puzzles. And so if you look at Zelda 1, like everybody's like, well, there were only lighting 4 torches, that's a puzzle. Boy, you have a low opinion of puzzles. Most of Zelda 1's puzzles are stick, sword, and enemy. I guess that's a puzzle. Or bomb a wall. That's a right. I get push a statue. But when you have these, I almost consider like these incredible machine contraptions where, like Mousetrap. Like
Sure.
when I play a Legend of Zelda game, I don't want to play a fucking game. I don't want to hit the man into the pan, knock the game
I gotcha.
down. Zelda
Interesting.
One
Okay.
Hit Puzzle, it did, yeah, Rush, it did. But again, these are the fucking exception to the rule. When we're talking about dungeon design, they're labyrinths. You did not have these incredible machine contraptions most of the time where you hit the man into the pan. Mousetrap, that's not what Zelda was. Come on. It's disingenuous to even pretend that.
Well, I mean, Zelda, I guess, is ever evolving because I mean, it's changed a lot in the Switch years.
And that's what I loved about, and again, my favorite Zelda of all time now, Breath of the Wild. Somehow it pulled it off.
Interesting.
It pulled it off.
I get a lot of hate for this.
Sure.
But I really like Breath of the Wild. And when I first played it, I remember Switch launch and picking it up, and I mean, I stayed up all night playing this game, and I remember thinking, if this game doesn't win Game of the Year, it's a travesty because this is like masterclass. And there are things about the game that today I think are so perfect. I mean, the way that the Zelda team was able to craft an open world where the exploration is so for lack of a better term, so organic. It doesn't feel like manufactured.
It's more Zelda 1 than even Zelda 1 was.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was like everything just came so natural. Like you didn't need like the fact that you didn't need any icons on the map. It was just it was the immersion of the world design to be like, huh, what's over there? It was like, it was just so organically done. And it's by far the best tutorial ever in a game.
Great platoon.
Again, like organic. It's show, don't tell. It's incredible. But that being said, when I finish the game, it's a really hard one for me to revisit. And
having the same problem, actually.
I feel like a lot of people, and again, this isn't a knock at the game because I think what it did was, I think it's one of the most important games of the last 10 years, easily. I feel like a lot of people are still wearing rose-tinted glasses with that game because there are still a lot of things about that game that, in my opinion, really, really bum me out in hindsight. For one, like I hate the way they do storytelling in the recent entries, mainline, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom.
It's an acquired taste for sure.
And I understand why they went that route, but it leaves a lot to be desired. And if you're not playing like with a guide, you're going to get the entire story out of order, which is like, it's not that fun. And then a lot of stuff, you're like watching the same story bits over and over again. I think Breath of the Wild has it's the worst villain of the series. I think Calamity Ganon sucks. I didn't have those feelings when I was playing it. It was in reflection. Like the main villain of the game is essentially, you think of it like a storm. Like there's not really really creative motive. There's nothing personal about it. Calamity Ganon's not doing anything to you or getting in your way at all or thwarting your plans. It's kind of just like, I don't know, you're exploring the world at your own pace, and you know that like there's this big storm that's going to destroy everything. So like stop the storm from happening. And so for me, that's just like that's not that interesting. The breaking weapons thing, I'm not a fan of it at all. I was really hoping they wouldn't have it in Tears of the Kingdom. And this is one I'm taking to my grave. I think the breakable weapons, it's just not fun. I think inventory management, not just in Breath of the Wild, but also Tears of the Kingdom and Echoes of Wisdom, was a pain in the ass. Like it, dude, nonstop. Like talk about breaking for a game that's designed to be so immersive. You spend a lot of fucking time in the menus. And like I found myself personally hoarding
The
all
menu
my
creep is real in Echoes of Wisdom.
It's real. And dude,
Fuck,
I was hoarding all my best weapons. You know why? Because I was like, well, I don't want them to break, so I'm only gonna use my shitty weapons. I'm gonna save all my good ones.
Well,
and only use my
here's a wild take, but I think it's accurate.
Yeah.
If you had put Echoes of Wisdom on a system like the if you had put that on a system like the Wii U that had like a pad out or like a DS, I think it would have been marvelous because then you wouldn't.
Sure.
But yeah, the menu creep in that game is so bad.
It's awful. And I made a video talking about this. This was way before Tears of the Kingdom was announced. Like what I'd like to see in the next Zelda, and I talk about how please, like for the love of God, get rid of the breakable weapons. They're not fun. It's a pain in the ass. And you know what? I would have forgiven it if they made the Master Sword the end all be all weapon. That's just like the perfect weapon, and you get it at the end of the game. But the fact that the Master Sword you can get early on. And yeah, it doesn't break, but after you use it, it goes on like a 20-minute cooldown or a 10-minute cooldown. I'm like, dude, that sucks. I hate it. I hate it so much.
I agree with you on the story somewhat. Yep. I do agree with you on the structure. Now, I was of the opinion, keep it in mind, I was an arcade kid back in the day, and I said when I think it was when Age of Calamity was doing its thing. And I said, oh, great. It's the shitty friends again. I really don't care about Link's shitty friends.
Sure.
And so I have a buddy, Jay from Cold Nights Gaming, and you should definitely check his channel out if you get the chance. He has a great video called The Tragedy of Breath of the Wild. That came about because of my fucking loudmouth comments on the shitty friends. Because he's like, I had a totally different reaction to that story. And he actually tells the tragedy of Breath of the Wild. He has this amazing video where he kind of tells exactly what happened. And after watching that, I'm kind of like, okay, I can see where you're coming from here for sure. I still don't think the friends are the best thing ever in the series.
They're not.
I think that detracts from the more solitary hero's journey that Zelda speaks to. But I get it. I do understand that. But it's still not my favorite aspect either. I do think I can sell you and Rush Dog on Calamity Ganon a little bit. Let me try to sell you on that. Okay?
Try, but it's going to be a tough sell. I'm just warning you.
Sure, it's okay. I like a tough sell. So you have to look at Zelda, and the way I always looked at it before Tears of the Kingdom came and fucked everything up with this. I used to think of every single Legend of Zelda game as a different retelling of the same legend by a different storyteller.
Same.
That was my headcanon.
Yep, same here.
And so basically what she would do is every game, the same legend, just told further and further in time. And so what you have here is you kind of have an end-of-the-age story. And look at it like this. So Demise and Ganon's hatred at this point, we are so far into the future of this legend that the only thing left of Ganon is a malice and a hatred of all of Hyrule. And that's the only thing that's left. And so at this point, like I said, I like a Magneto. I like a Darth Vader as much as anybody. Yeah. But for the story they were trying to tell, I do feel like the Calamity works because at this point, our salvation doesn't lie in understanding this. It lies in stopping this. And there's nothing really to stop. And in a way, that's the appeal of it. Is there the Ganon you know and love is gone. All that is left is this malice and hatred. It's his legacy. It is the legacy. It is the hereditary nature of malice and pain and cruelty encapsulated into a fucking force of nature. Yeah. And then they gave us Granny Ganondorf in the next fucking game. They gave us dehydrated Ganondorf.
Listen, so
that Granny laugh after he stabs Sonya, man, that I can't take it seriously. I just can't.
So I'll say this. I think the concept behind Calamity Ganon is awesome, and I appreciate it. And like that, the lore that you spelled out, I get it. I appreciate that. Yeah. I think what the game is missing, that would have made me look past my dissatisfaction, I guess, with the main villain, is not the execution. It's an iconic Servant of Chaos. So Skyward Sword, we have Girahim. Twilight Princess, we have Zant. You know, it like these.
Yeah, we
Servants
didn't
of
get that.
Chaos.
We got the fucking dork gang, whatever you call it.
The dorks, the Yiga clan.
The Yiga clan. Yeah, the dorks
Yeah.
that almost made me quit the fucking game. Literally.
Yeah.
That banana sneaking through the banana dungeon, having to do the sneak mission, I almost fucking quit. I almost broke a goddamn controller on that sneak dungeon. I almost did.
Oh, yeah.
That infuriated me. It literally, my second playthrough, it almost made me quit, Bert.
Yeah, sometimes those sneak missions are annoying as hell, especially when it's not a game specifically designed around that kind of a mechanic. So it doesn't feel like, I don't know, it feels unfair. But yeah, no, I hear you on the Calamity Ganon stuff.
Fucking dork.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, if they had a really cool Servant of Chaos that was really intriguing character, I would have completely looked past it.
We need a Zant or a white lip gloss that stays through the whole game.
Yeah, totally.
Zant was awesome. I loved the
awesome,
shit out of Zant until he took off his mask and went.
Oh, dude, that was my favorite part. The tongue action.
And that's why I need to replay it. Because again, that was like a business school different mindset zoo that, like, what is this silly shit? And
I mean, now it was a little bit.
I'll probably enjoy it now, to be honest.
It was definitely cartoony. I got it mixed up. I was thinking Girahim with the tongue stuff.
No, Girahim. So white lip gloss is unironically awesome. He's so
dude. He's fantasy David Bowie, basically. It's rad.
I don't know that he belongs in Zelda, but he's absolutely, his boss battles are terrific.
They're so rad
with that dude are so good. Easily my favorite part of Skyward Sword. Some of my favorite parts were the duels with Girahim.
Yeah, they're awesome. And again, the example of that type of enemy that's showing up throughout the story and causing problems. I just love it.
You're watching character development live, by the way, GameBird. I'm calling him by his actual name instead of white lip gloss consistently. I'm calling him Girahim like 3 times now. So you're watching actual character development. It's just like Red Pompadour. What's his Bruce? Red Pompadour is what I always call him.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's the thing. Like, as Zelda went on, and it's one of the things that I find kind of endearing a little bit now, I'm not going to lie. Young Zoo found it distasteful, but it's like every single fucking NPC I can identify now in Anuma's Zeldas by their weird fucking quirky. So you have like the principal, you have Principal's daughter. It's like, that's not Zelda, that's Principal's daughter. You have Regal Unibrow, which is this guy with this gigantic connected fucking unibrow. Like you got Bamboo Bader. He's got like one giant fucking muscle arm because he chops bamboo with that one arm. Then the other arm's like the little baby arm, so he's Bamboo Bader.
I love it.
You got like Snot Bubble. You got like the kid with the snot wad in his nose. Like,
I love it.
and it's just like, as time went on with Zelda, I'm just like, I feel less like a hero, and I feel more like I'm doing chores for these feckless and contemptible citizens of Hyrule. And and what was great about not Tears of the Kingdom, but Breath of the Wild, is those people were all gone for the most part.
They're gone, yeah.
Now, I know they weren't. I know there's plenty of them somehow, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But there was a whole lot less of that shit in the way of my Epic's Heroes journey, I felt like.
Sure.
Now, the weapons breaking, I definitely want to get into because I agree completely.
Listen, man. I want to say one thing really quick about this breaking weapons.
Yeah.
Because I made a video about this, and I dug in pretty hard to why I don't like it and why I don't think it's fun and how the side effect of it was constant inventory management and hoarding the good weapons and disappointing Master Sword. But that being said, a lot of people had come at me and been like, I just don't get it. And I get thematically why it makes sense for Breath of the Wild. I don't get why it makes sense for Tears of the Kingdom. I get thematically why it made sense for Breath of the Wild. There's kind of almost like a survival element to the game.
I can explain it. I can explain it for Tears of the Kingdom. So Ganon needs the lotion to rehydrate. He took all of the kingdom's lotion and he dehydrated everything, including the weapons.
There you go. Well, I have this to say for everyone who loves breakable weapons. If breakable weapons are so amazing and so fun, why aren't you begging other games to include it? Why aren't you begging that the new next Final Fantasy has breaking weapons and the next God of War has breaking weapons? Because games are so much more fun when your weapons break.
I feel like breaking weapons could be done, but they weren't done well in this game at all. And there's a great channel, another channel I'll turn you on to if you get a chance. It's called the Electric Underground. You want to talk about a guy who analyzes arcade style games like no one's fucking business? The Electric Underground is the arcade guy. And he makes the point in his critique of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And what he says is that you've given us a mechanic, and the mechanic is completely wasted and pointless. And the reason he says that is because, yes, you have all these breakable weapons, and yet by the mid-game, when the game starts to fall apart difficulty-wise, you have so many good quality weapons that the breakable mechanic is just a pain-in-the-ass inconvenience, rather than an actual thing that must be managed and conserved and analyzed. Like, by the mid-game, you are drowning in good weapons.
Yeah.
And so it makes the fact that there are so many good weapons, his critique was, it makes this whole mechanic a pointless pain in the ass.
It's a pain in the ass, and nothing feels special. Like when you get, I know you're not a big Ocarina of Time fan, but like when you get like the Goron sword and like the mirror shield in that game,
special.
It feels really special. And you're thinking about all the things that you're going to be able to do now that you have this, or getting the Great Fairy Sword, or upgrading your sword to the Gilded Sword in Majora's Mask. Like those moments feel so, unlocking, like the beam mechanics and Sky, like those moments feel so special.
Fierce Tiny Mask.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird because Breath of the Wild is a rags to riches game, but it just doesn't feel like it in the same way that the traditional games felt. That journey of building up this meaningful arsenal, like experience like in a book. You know what I mean? Well, like everything is kind of just when you look at everything as disposable, it devalues it, in my opinion.
Well, yeah. Once I was weak. And now once I was scared, I'm not scared anymore. That's kind of the principal feeling for me of Zelda is you start in a dangerous world. Everything is set out to kill you. Dark Souls is a great comparison, by the way, Rush.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. But I was scared before. Now I'm not scared because I have experience. I've got skills. I've built up an arsenal. And that's kind of at the heart of Zelda. Now, to go back to Ocarina of Time, because I do want to clarify for people. I wouldn't put Ocarina at the bottom. Nowhere near the bottom.
Sure.
Of the list. I just feel like that's where that goddamn water temple comes into play. You start to get some of the focus on the NPCs rather than the hero's journey. There's a lot of stuff there where it starts, but Ocarina of Time is still a fine game, and the music and the music. And the fact that there's some of the genuinely, like as a horror buff, genuinely some of the scariest, most horrifying shit in the Zelda series is in Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time. That goddamn
the well is a thing of nightmares.
Oh my god.
For sure.
Oh yeah, like Breath of the Wild would have been Breath of the Wild would have been better if only the early wooden weapons were breakable. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And listen, someone in chat said they said breakable weapons can be done well. Look at Dark Souls.
Yes.
And you know what? I fully agree with that statement. It's not necessarily breakable weapons that I have the issue with. It's Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom spray. I'm talking about like you pick up a sword and you fight an enemy and the sword explodes mid-battle with that one. The first time you've used the weapon, it just disintegrates.
Yeah, with Dark Souls, I think it's hey, you go from doing good damage to doing like 5 damage.
Yeah, and then you repair it at a merchant. Yes, and that good damage will last an hour too. Like that's like an hour of combat before it's
how do we feel about Tears of the Kingdom's fix for that, which was gluing a bunch of anachronistic pieces of shit together?
So I mean, it helped. because weapons did last longer.
I agree with
But
that. I'd say it helped, but it also took away from my feeling as like a knight in fantasy wonderland.
sure, totally.
Now I'm
Yeah.
building like.
I mean, we're due for a retheming and a new art style so bad for Zelda. And I only say so bad because not only did we get Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, but we got 2 Hyrule Warriors games in that art style and within that universe. I think we're just like past due for one of my as a fan since I was essentially a baby. One of my favorite things about new entries is what's the art style going to look like? Like I get genuinely excited for that. So,
100%. And not only art style, but I mean, again, this is one of those things where if 8 years ago you had told me I was going to say this, I'd have been like, no way. But I think Zelda's due another shakeup.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. And I actually, funny you say that. I said it on the podcast, I think this past week. Yeah, you better believe they're going to do a shakeup because if they don't, they're going to get diminishing returns. People are not going to want to have a third entry in this series.
Not after Tears of the Kingdom. I actually I told people, and a lot of people, me and OJ argue about this all the time. Like, dude, if you look at the drop off of sales and how that game fell off a fucking cliff after
here's
the house started. Dude.
Here's the thing. I don't necessarily think it's a Tears of the Kingdom problem. So my feeling on Tears of the Kingdom, I know just from us talking, you haven't said that. I don't think you said you don't like it, but
I don't like
maybe you don't like it.
Okay,
you don't like it. So I actually think that the way I view it is I actually think Tears of the Kingdom is a better game, but I don't disagree with someone who likes Breath of the Wild better. So the way I view it is this: is I think Breath of the Wild is the most brilliant and well executed proof of concept that's ever been. They came up with this brilliant idea for an open world game and executed it flawlessly to where it like blew people's minds. Everyone's instantly trying to imitate it. They struck lightning in a bottle. Tears of the Kingdom builds on that proof of concept, and ultimately, whether you like it more or less, it takes that same proof of concept and builds a more dense and feature-rich experience. So I think as far as like bang for your buck and the package, I do think there's more mechanics, there's more more substance to Tears of the Kingdom. But I like if you already feel like been there, done that with Breath of the Wild, like I totally get that.
That's part of it.
And you're losing you lose the magic of it being the first time experiencing this world. So I get that part of it too. Does that make sense?
The main thing too, okay? So I'll start with what I liked. Ascend is godly. Ascend is so good. That's such a great power.
Yeah, how does the game even function with that ability?
I don't know.
How is that not a broken mess?
They make it work. It has the same kind of problem I had with Echoes of Wisdom. A lot of menu creep in there where you're constantly crafting and doing shit. I made the joke. What's so goddamn funny about Tears of the Kingdom is literally years ago. Rush Dog might remember this joke. This is back in the SNES Hub days when we were on forums. And I would literally joke that, so the reason why we got Skyward Sword is that Anuma's kid liked birds and liked flying things. And before that, he liked trains, and so we got fucking Spirit Tracks. This motherfucker literally just puts whatever his fucking kid bedtime story and shoves that into Zelda. So in before Bob the Builder Zelda. I fucking said that like 20 years ago, it feels like, but it was probably more like 15. Point being is now we have Bob the Builder Zelda, and we're stuck in crafting menus, and I've seen some of the amazing things that people build, and that's really cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't want to be crafting. Part of it also, maybe it's better on Switch 2. In fact, Nate says it is much better on Switch 2.
It is. Yeah.
I'm not doing it at 10 frames a second. That might fucking help. I don't understand, and most people won't care about this. I don't understand why we just decided we don't give a fuck about lore anymore. We don't care about the Sheikah. We don't care about the fucking guard. We don't care anymore. We're just going to replace them with a new civilization. That was in the same. That was weird. where does Ganon fit in? Is this the Ganon from Ocarina? Is this not the Ganon from Ocarina? Who's the goat guy?
Yeah, to be fair, I don't know if I'm in the minority or the majority on this one. I don't care about timeline stuff.
It's the majority. You're in the majority.
Okay. And the reason why is I've been, despite the fact that Nintendo was willing to like staple and paperclip together a timeline with the series.
Yeah, by the way, just want to point out, GameBird, I saw what they fucking did there, by the way, sticking all my favorite games in the goddamn failure timeline. I see you, Enuma. I fucking see what you're doing there. Just want to point that out. I never got over that, but anyway.
I'll give you a fun take afterwards. I'm very like, it's so weird. I will have to do this if you'll have me do another Look It Up live sometime, man, because I love chatting about video games, and I feel like I have a lot of hot takes that for me, I'm like, I don't get why they're hot takes, but
that's me all day long. I get why mine are hot takes. So.
Some of them I do. We can explore that either later tonight or in a future episode or something, but yeah, I don't know. You mentioned like feeling like every entry is a retelling of like the same legend, like Telephone. Like you're just hearing the story different as the years go on.
Need a timeline, yeah.
And that's the mentality I've been stuck in. Even when I see the timeline, I'm like, okay, they've made a timeline, but like I still can't wrap my head around it because every time I boot one up, I'm never thinking like, oh, this takes place after that. Obviously, with Tears of the Kingdom, I know.
So there's my struggle. How do you do that with Tears? Because they literally, sadly, they make
you can't. No, you can't. Like
for the first time,
it's actually a follow up. Yeah. But I guarantee you, when the next game comes out, unless it's a part 3 in a trilogy, I'm not going to be like, where's this one fit in between? I'm going to be like, oh, I can't wait to dive into this legend.
Also, this rehydrated Ganon. This dehydrated Ganondorf destroys my take on Calamity Ganon, because my whole take about that is the only thing left of this motherfucker is his hatred and malice for all of Hyrule. And then lo and behold, here he is, and he's walking and he's talking and he's thinking, and he's the same bad guy he always was, and he has motivations and ambitions. And it's like, oh, yeah, well, fuck Calamity Ganon then. And to be fair, maybe that's what they were thinking. Maybe most people didn't like Calamity Ganon. So like, yeah, get that guy out of here. Get that clown out of here,
I feel like that's probably it, because I mean, I felt such a strong, like, I'm like, what an uninteresting villain. Like, I'm like, that this character had no depth. He had as much depth as a tornado.
But absolutely. And that was the point, but I do think that probably most people thought the same thing. They're like, okay, it's a pig hurricane. Okay.
Tears of the Kingdom ultimately to me feels like 2 steps forward, 2 steps backwards. Like that's for me the best way to describe it. But I feel like the Zelda Tears of the Wild
we're ready.
Duo to me, like, I love the new things that they brought to the table, and I think it was time for Zelda to kind of reinvent itself. But I still think there were tried and true staples of the series that, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Doesn't mean like don't reinvent the series. They did a really good job. I just think, I don't know, like some of the like the iconic items. And listen, I love the puzzle dungeons personally, but like one of the best parts of the puzzle dungeons, I mean, they beefed it with the Divine Beast. The Divine Beast.
No, that's what I'm saying. Those were the worst puzzle dungeons of the period. I don't even like puzzle dungeons.
They're awful.
And those were awful.
They're awful. And then the fact that each boss was, more or less a reskin. I know there's like subtle differences. It was really disappointing. And then Tears of the Kingdom to me felt like a step in the right direction, because like, okay, like the temples are themed this time. And oftentimes
the boss battles were good.
And the boss battles were good, but guess what? The dungeons still sucked. Each one was like, hit these 5 switches or turn these 5 levers. Each one.
So, to me, Nintendo had an easy assignment with Tears of the Kingdom. They had an easy assignment. So, do the same thing. If you want, throw in Ganondorf. Sure, he's a fan favorite. Give us new enemies. They did that, by the way. We got the Gibdos. We got the Gleeoks. We got likes. We got. I don't think I would have liked to see more of this. I would have loved to have seen Dark Nuts. or Iron Knuckles, and I would have loved to see. We got Wizrobes. Fuck, we got Wizrobes in the first one. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
But the other part of that is give us the dungeons back, which they did, but they missed the second part, which is fill those goddamn dungeons with enemy encounters.
Enemy encounters.
I want to fight.
And,
I want to fight in dungeons.
Mini bosses too. Like that's a staple.
I want to fight.
Yeah.
I want to fight. I don't want to. If you want to throw some goddamn puzzles, you can, but I also want to fight. I want to stick my sword in some of these fucking assholes.
Yeah. So
they didn't do it. Basically, I'll tell you what it is: Hyrule Castle from both games. Hyrule Castle. Just give us 5 or 6 Hyrule Castles.
Yeah, and the most upsetting part of it, Zoo, is that I don't recall the exact number, but like Breath of the Wild had somewhere like 128 shrines, and it was the case was the same for Tears of the Kingdom. You don't need 128 shrines. Cut that number in half. Literally, cut the number in half. Give us 60 shrines, and then build 5 or 6 fully fleshed out dungeons with mini bosses and great encounters.
Yeah.
Literally use those resources and development times that you spent creating 60 additional shrines filled with unique puzzles and just build themed dungeons.
And I'll share if you give me enemy encounters in those dungeons, I'll give you the puzzle stuff too. Like we can do both. We used to do both. Like that's one thing I will say about Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time had those dungeons were stuffed with baddies and puzzles.
Yep.
You can do both.
So let me ask you this. It seems like we're both on the same page. We're both expecting something new from the Zelda series, new art style, kind of maybe not fully reinventing itself, but something that really separates it from the Switch 1 era, at least. Is there anything you're hoping for from the next entry? The next
I would love Zelda to use a neoclassical fantasy art style. And what I mean by that is I'm talking about go look at the old SNES art in the actual. Go look at the NES.
I love it. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, Zelda 2
it's
and
wonderful.
Link to the Past manuals. That art style. That is both. Not only is that colorful and vibrant, it's also dark. You want to talk about like dark fantasy? That dark fantasy right there.
I love that.
Take
I love it
away from the high fantasy it's been in. I'm not against high fantasy, but Zelda's roots were dark fantasy. It was Nintendo's take on Sword in the Stone, Sleeping Beauty, the Arthurian myth.
Yeah, you're getting close to what my hopes are for. Yeah. So I love this. I'm like loving this right now.
The other thing I would say is you already solved this problem, and it was a game called A Link Between Worlds with item rental. They solved the problem already.
Yeah.
How do you do the more structured dungeons and also allow the freedom to choose when and where you encounter those? Item rental. They already solved it. So just implement that in a larger console game. Pair that with that classical art style. Give us more enemy encounters. Make it a more combat-centric experience.
Well, let's be honest though, man. Like I love go anywhere, do anything, but people love Metroidvania aspects in games. Like
100%.
I love the freedom, but seeing something that you can't open and then later on being like, holy shit, this is how I opened that golden, like that massive golden door I saw in that cave.
It's dopamine right to your brain, man.
Yeah, right to your brain. Like, oh shit, I gotta hightail it back there and see what the hell was behind that. Like, there's something exciting about that. So I think there's a way to give the bet to create maybe a more like hybrid is the word for it, like a more true hybrid between traditional and modern Zelda in a way that they didn't do with Tears of the Kingdom. But,
yeah, no, 100%. I would, man. And I'm excited to see what they do.
Yeah.
If they don't put it on a goddamn key card, I guess. But we'll see about that. We'll get to that in a second. I guess
absolutely.
we got some comments building up on us, but
Yeah, absolutely.
I actually have more hope today than I had yesterday. I'll say that before we start with comments, because the indies have showed up in force today. And like Rush Dog, I feel like Rush Dog has kind of been the angel on my shoulder today, because I've been kind of slipping back into heel zoo for a little bit over the last few days. And then he shows me, hey, Cyvario 3 is getting a Switch physical. Remember, Hades 2 is coming out next week, Zoo. Here's another Moving Out has a physical. And so I'm like, okay. Well, I'm glad that behemoths like Nicholas can hold the fort down. But I just wish they would give the little guys like Square Enix a chance,
Sure.
Like, the little guy never has a chance when it comes to
sure.
But anyway, we'll get into it. But I'm actually in a better mood. You caught me actually in a better mood today than I was yesterday with poor Tucky Popcorn.
Oh, man, that's hilarious.
So we were at Wind Waker is dark despite being and colorful. It takes place in a post-apocalyptic ruined world, which is one of my things for what Zelda should be. Post-apocalyptic. That's one thing that Wind Waker absolutely gets right.
Yep.
Two reasons for this, Rush. Number one, I don't have to deal with the feckless citizens of Hyrule as much. I'm an antisocial Link. That's great for me. Number two, it gives you an impetus to save that ruined world.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, my big hope for theming in the next Zelda is art style. I don't care what the art style is. I just want it to be different than anything we've seen in the series. But theme-wise, I would like to see them take a stab at a little bit more gothic fantasy. I
can see that. Yeah.
I love it. Like, I just think it would be so even a game in the art style of Wind Waker, but with the cathedrals and the castles with the gargoyles on it. Like, I love the thought in like the Dark Knights and stuff like that. Doesn't matter the art style. It could be as whimsical and colorful of an art style or as mature as Nintendo wants to go. I just want that kind of that gothic fantasy. You get that in Souls. Like the Souls games are
exactly, and that's what I was going to joke at. Everybody's
Castlevania.
Everybody's like, "Well, Zoo, you're describing Dark Souls." You goddamn right I am. There's a reason why Dark Souls was my fucking refuge when I abandoned Nintendo for like 2 console generations. There's a reason for that, and it's because that was my Zelda stand-in until they got their shit together with Breath of the Wild. But
yep.
Let's see here. Play the Wii U version of the Wind Waker. It makes some major quality of life improvements. I heard the sailing's better. I heard the Triforce fucking clusterfuck at the end is cleaned up, which is good. But GameBird tells me the art style is a little bit oversaturated. So.
I'll say this. The Wii U version is the best version to play. And I've debated this with Prime on the podcast. We butt heads on this topic because a lot of people really want the version on Switch too, the HD version. And what makes the sailing is a big quality of life, but the major feature that makes the HD version the best version to play is the touchpad. Having your items in your map in your hands and being able to touch iron boots, touch your big hammer. That's what makes it the best version. And porting it to the Switch, you're actually getting a lesser version. You're getting a worse version of Wind Waker HD. You might as well just play the better looking GameCube version. Because that's my opinion. If the Switch 2 was a dual screen system and was like a clamshell type system, I'd say I'd be all for it. And I'd be like, Switch 2 is going to be the way to go. I don't care if I think the Wind Waker version looks prettier, but yeah.
It does make me wonder what Breath of the Wild could have been, because again, not that Breath of the Wild was terrible with the menus shit either, but it wasn't that bad. But I imagine the U-Pod would have come in a lot of handy there as far as selecting your equipment or cooking or combining ingredients. Goes to show you that for as much shit as I give the Wii U, it did have its merits, right?
Yeah, totally.
So Rush Dog says 100 line is better than DK Bonanza. Yes. But you know what? You got me thinking now, Rush. Because on one hand, they speak to two different parts of my being, I guess is what I will say. 100 Line speaks to the philosophical nature. It speaks to my intellect. It speaks to my philosophical nature. Asks a lot of really tough questions about things such as war and sacrifice and right and wrong, and who is the aggressor, who's being aggressed upon. I think 100 Line is an important game, and especially some of the stuff that's going on. I think it's a timely game. And so I probably intellectually, not that that's a hard argument to make, I get a lot more out of the 100 Line. That said, Donkey Kong is just so much goddamn fun. It hits a dopamine rush. I mean, literally pounding the levels down to the fucking metal core that's just literally there to make sure you don't fall off shit. Like, just pounding that entire is just like crack to me. And there is something that happens in the late game that I will not spoil here, in case people haven't played it, that is probably one of the greatest moments I've ever experienced as a fan of Donkey Kong Country. That has to be seen to be believed. I'm still going to give it to the 100 Line because there is just so much goddamn game there, and there is so much substance, and there is so much that game does to subvert and deconstruct. I think there was a philosopher named Derrida who said deconstruction is justice. 100 Line Last Defense Academy is deconstruction, the video game. And it has to be seen to be believed. It's incredible. That said, Void Strangers is game of the year. If I'm talking about games I actually finally played for the first time this year, it's Void Strangers. But Void Strangers is a 2023 game. So it can't technically win 2025 game of the year. So it's 100 Line. Because Void Strangers does all the same thing that 100 Line does. And it's also fun as fuck. And it has the best goddamn music of any game I've played in the last decade. Now there's a fucking statement. We'll have to later on in the cast. I'm gonna have to sell you a little bit on Void Stranger, and I can.
Yeah, please. I've never played it.
Oh my god, it's so good.
But I'll have to agree with you on this question. I think I'd cast my vote on 100 Line.
Have you played 100 Line?
Yes.
How many endings have you gotten?
I haven't finished it, but
okay. So I gotta shut the fuck up.
No ending spoilers, please. But
have you gotten through the first 100 days?
No, I haven't even.
Shutting the fuck up completely.
Yeah, I live a very busy schedule, so I know how long that game is. I know how meaty and big it is. So it's one that I'm just like playing piece by piece here and there. But I will say this. This question is like, it's tough because, well, first off, if you hate like strategy or you hate like visual novel type
it's
games,
not for you. It's not for you.
Yeah, it's like the game's going to be ass for you if you hate that. Yes. And same if you don't like platformers, or you don't like, yeah. So it's also mood. I go through moods too. Like I go through moods where I'm a huge 3D platformer person. But sometimes I just don't feel like playing them. And sometimes a new one like DK will come out and I'll play it and I'll love it for like 5 hours. And then I'll put it down and be like, I don't really feel it. I feel like playing other things, not like in a platforming mood. So the same could be said for visual novels as well. So it's tough, but I got to give the edge to 100 Line. The writing's fantastic. It's just a really cool game. And just knowing it has all the special endings and DK is different, man. It's DK is just a very special experience, and I think it's about the build up to the end of the game. And if you have a love for the series, the ending of the game is just it's magical. It's the same. I don't know if you've played through or finished. I know you said you're playing Odyssey right now. Have you finished Odyssey?
Yes, actually, this is my third run through Odyssey now. So it's
okay, cool.
So as a 3D Mario hater, all of a sudden I've done 3 fucking runs of Odyssey, and now I'm actually playing Galaxy and enjoying the shit out of it. And now I'm just like, why the fuck did I ever hate these goddamn?
What's your favorite Mario? I know I'm jumping all over the place.
Mario Brothers 3. It's not even close.
Okay. There you go. So mine's different, and mine's not even close either. And I know most people are Mario Brothers 3 fans, but Super Mario World to me is a perfect video game, and it's my favorite Mario of all time. And I think it belongs on any top 10 list.
Like, so actually, I'm gonna amend my statement to that. Actually, it is close because Mario 3 and Mario World are actually very close, and then everything else is like down here. Those 2 are close. What I will argue, and what I've always argued, is I could see a case for either game. I can.
Yes, I agree. I have like this weird thing with Mario 3 that makes me like World better. Okay. And I jokingly blame Mario 3 for ruining 2D Mario because it's not necessarily the game's fault.
It's hard to do anything else.
Well, it's not that. Everyone, like most people's favorite is Mario 3. So Nintendo constantly frames their 2D Mario games to be kind of like Mario 3. And what World has and what makes World, my favorite, there's a lot of reasons, but one of the biggest ones, and it's something we're missing in games today. I complain about this all the time to Thunderstash, and he laughs and agrees with me, is secrets. The game is packed with so many secrets, so many secret paths and secret levels. And I know Mario 3 has secrets as well, but Super Mario World is packed with that stuff. And I feel like that's a lost art in video games now. Like having all those hidden paths and secret worlds and secret levels and branching things that, like, dude, I was learning secrets in Mario World for years. It wasn't like you play through it a couple times and you find everything. It was years. People mentioning like a certain path. I'm like, what? I've beaten that game like 16 times. What are you talking about?
I mean, shit, I was still learning that game, and I've probably beaten Mario World probably 30 times. Probably.
Sure.
Easy. On the 28th, 29th, you're still figuring shit out that you can do.
Yeah. If there was a secret discovered in that game today, I would not be surprised. Yeah. And I mean, this is part of the magic with a game like Breath of the Wild, jumping back to there, people discovering things you can do in that game for years to come. So I really love that. And it's a lost art. And I know I'm on the minority. I have a feeling you're going to be the same as me on this. And if you are, we're both in the minority. I love unlockables in games. And I know it's people want everything everywhere all at once now.
It depends on the game. Yeah, it depends on the game and it depends on the execution, but it can be done. If you're deliberately structuring it to where you're making me a hamster running in a wheel, I'm not going to like you very much.
That's okay. So that's not what I'm talking about. But think about, do you play Smash Brothers at all?
Smash Brothers is a great execution of that. Yes.
So think about Smash Melee. Absolutely. I remember being on the schoolyard and some kid telling, this is like, I'm 38 years old. So, internet was relatively new. A lot of stuff people were finding out on the schoolyard. I remember some kid telling me that if I left my Smash Bros. Melee on for like 12 hours or whatever, it would unlock me too. Like I'd get to challenge me. I'm like, bullshit, dude. Bullshit. But you bet your ass I went home and left Smash Brothers on overnight before bed. And it was fucking true. Like, dude, that was like a magic of of a generation that's now gone. Now people like complain if they don't just have the whole roster when you boot up the game. Like people don't want to unlock stuff. But I love that. I'm like, oh man, I just did like the defeated the 100-man battle and fucking Lucas shows up and stuff like that, or Wolf shows up. So
definitely.
I gotta miss that
real
stuff.
And that's the thing. If you can feel it. If you can feel the unlockables, you're not doing it right.
Right.
But if you're not feeling it, and it's just a constant, again, it's that constant dopamine drip if you're not feeling it.
Yep.
And Smash is a great example of that, 100%. Now, when it comes to Mario 3, what I will say is I'm going to give a very, I like your argument. I think your argument's actually going to be better than my argument.
There's a great argument for 3,
argument is very simple when it comes to Mario 3. And it's simply this. I think they're honestly about as neck and neck as 2 games can ever be. But one's on an 8-bit console. And one's on a 16-bit console.
Yep.
It shouldn't be close.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I mean, I think that's valid, and I think there's areas where Mario 3 clearly beats Super Mario World. I mean, here's the thing, man. Your favorite might be 3, my favorite might be World, but I think they're the two best Mario games, period.
They're two of the best games
Yeah.
ever. Period.
Yeah, ever.
Ever.
3 beats World on power-ups. You know, there was kind of a downgrade on power-ups in World. And I think that's one of the game's crutches.
The superhero cape is silly in the way.
It's ridiculous, but it's fun. But I don't know. Yeah.
Both
I love
games,
that game.
though, Mario World I love because it's the last game where the game actually had any actual kind of speed to it. I give this people as a point when I talk about my critiques of Mario Wonder, and I like Wonder, but my critique of Wonder is, ladies and gentlemen, I present you a bullet bill from Super Mario World, boom, and it goes across the screen in like 2 seconds. Here's the bullet bill from Super Mario Wonder, and it fucking takes like a 9-second meandering fucking cruise across your screen. And that is the entire problem with that fucking game. It's totally slow and it is easy. And it is slow and easy all the way up to Castle Bowser World. And it never gets difficult until the very end, and then it's like your typical special world stages.
Yeah.
It just goes balls hard all of a sudden. And it's just like there is no, like if you look at Mario 3, right? And the first couple of stages, okay, they're pretty easy. Then you get into Giant World, and oh shit, struggling now all of a sudden. You get into, by the time you get to fucking Ice World, absolutely the worst world in that fucking game. I will not be taking comments on this. Or like Piranha Pipe World, and then they drop you into fucking hell, and Bowser's
I just hate it.
Tank, and he's got an Air Force, and he's got a Navy, and
I just don't like when they recycle content in the same game, and fighting the same boss at the end of every world for me was like, I was like, dude, what happened to what happened to the days of like Super Mario World where it was like a unique boss every single time?
Yeah.
Like I complained about this with Breath of the Wild, that the recycled boss fight or the reskins, it's, I don't know. It's like, really, that's where you like boss fights is where you skimped. Like these are moments that people get really like, I mean, Dark Souls is popular for many reasons, but I mean, let's be real. One of the biggest aspects that people talk about and love is the epic, unique boss fights. The same goes for Zelda. People love good, creative, imaginative boss fights. So please, for the love of God, don't use the same boss.
A PlayStation 3 single-handedly sold.
Yeah.
I don't know if I played almost anything else aside from fucking Rock Band. And
I held off on the PS3 for so long. I bought mine for the launch of and it was hard because like I'm a Nintendo content creator, and I didn't go fully into like my backstory or anything like that at the start of the show, but I'm a gamer. Nintendo's my favorite of the companies. It's where I started. You know, I have the longest and deepest history. You know, I going all the way back to, you know, what I showed at the start of the show. But I love Sony. And I loved Sega. I was really sad to see Sega leave.
I also loved Sega.
Broke my heart.
I also loved Sega. For sure. Yeah, Sega Genesis was like, I was one of the few people I had a Sega Genesis and I had a Super Nintendo. The only system I missed out on was the TurboGrafx 16. I do feel like I missed out on that. It had some bangers, but we didn't know. Nobody fucking knew about that system back then. Nobody fucking cared. Nobody knew. Fuck his ball.
Oh man. Yeah, Sega made some really odd business choices, but man, to think of a future where Sega still was in the console space today is very fascinating.
I hear the Dreamcast is very good, and I hear the Sega Saturn is the system I should have got for Christmas instead of the N64.
Yeah,
because it had all my 2D art. It's where all the 2D games. It's where 2D went to die that generation. Yeah, they all went to the Sega Saturn.
Yeah, Saturn's awesome. I wish I had one. I have all my systems from childhood. I have a bunch. You can't. So the wall.
Do you have a Saturn?
I don't have a Saturn. So
Oh,
I've got.
me neither. Me neither. Never
I've
had
got.
one.
I've got 2 Genesis. I've on the Sega side, I've got 2 Genesis, a Dreamcast, 2 Game Gears, and that's it for Sega. So I do need a Saturn really bad. One of my buddies, he has a Saturn, and I used to go and play at his house all the time. This was just a couple years ago. Or actually, see this? I've got Batman Returns playing in the background on
for Super Nintendo.
No, it's the movie.
Oh, the
if
movie.
You can see
okay.
behind me, there's a fuzzy TV.
Okay. Yeah, I see it. Okay.
Wait, pull it out.
Yeah.
So my buddy, as an
I
art
love your
project-
space, by the way. I
Thank you,
fucking love
dude.
your gaming space.
I wish I could show off this wall because this wall is my physical game collection.
Okay.
Shelves. And then,
Nice.
Believe it or not, there's like 4 CRT TVs in here. I collect.
You're a man after my own heart, man.
I'm stuck in like the 80s and 90s. So I've got like, I collect cool like VCRs and Polaroids and all that dumb stuff, clear
That was a
clear
fabulous
landline phones and stuff. But yeah, I don't even know where I was going. But anyways, video games are cool.
Yeah.
Saturn, that's right. My buddy, he as an art project would build these furry boxes for CRT TVs. And so I bought my CRT TV and I was begging him. I was like, please, man, I'll give you money. Put it in one of your furry boxes for me. And I went over his house and he built it. I know.
No, I love it.
I
Man.
know. Yeah. And he's like, do you want to play something while I work on this? I was like, yeah, man. And he had a Saturn. I was like, I've never played this console. This is a blind spot in my gaming history. And I went to town on the Saturn for like 2 hours trying out tons of games. And I've desperately wanted one, but couldn't bring myself to pay the insane prices to get my hands on it. I know. Because it is sick. And I've been praying, and I know it's a forlorn hope, but I've been praying for Saturn to somehow make its way onto NSO because despite that console not being a success, there is a lot of hidden gems on there that it's like, dude, if you don't have a CRT TV and a $200 Saturn, and like some of those games are going for $600, $700, $800,
dude,
if you can find them. It's insane.
I don't make bad money, and it's too fucking blue blood for me, man. I can't. That scene is crazy, bro.
It's insane.
Like, as much as I've spent on fucking Switch games, my girl would fucking murder me. Murder me.
Yeah,
if I started investing in Saturn. She's like, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit.
I remember
your childhood. You're not getting that.
I remember there was like, it was a while ago. There was 1 month. There was like a ton going on and a bunch of like unexpected like emergency costs that came up, and I was tight for cash. And my wife was like, "Oh, why don't you sell some of the stuff from the game room?" And I just remember like going as pale as a fucking corpse. You feel your stomach drop.
Yeah, no.
Luckily, I wasn't in that tough of a position.
Yeah, no. Find another way. That will always be my old man advice to anybody. Don't sell your old games. You'll regret.
I felt my asshole in my throat. Put it that way.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. Hey, we got some other people showing up here.
Yeah,
so, hey,
dude.
Phil What Up Collects is here. JGEBZC is here. Welcome. Let's see. We got Angry Vigilante Show is in the house.
Hell yeah, friend of the Chan.
And we've got Sky Sword Elisa, which wasn't she on the show last night?
Yeah, I think she's going to be on again soon. Yeah, she's become a series regular.
Awesome.
So, yeah,
awesome. We'll have to have her on at some point, too. I'd love to talk to her about Zelda, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, she's got some rad Zelda stuff, too.
Fuck yeah.
She's actually, I talk about the show I'm going to be doing. And I know you're not an on-camera person, but if it's ever something that you end up doing, Zoo, because I know you collect physical, and you ever want to be a part of it, the door is always open. I love meeting new people in this space. I love chatting and hanging with anyone. I don't care what sort of fanboy you are. I just love hanging and talking about video games and nerdy shit. So there's always an open invitation. But I know Thunderstash is going to be doing an episode. Sky Swords Alyssa is going to be doing an episode. Botox Games is going to be doing an episode. And Attack the Backlog. Those are the 4 creators who are on board. So
well, fuck
anyone in the crowd.
Absolutely. And fuck, I could share pictures or some shit. Like, I'll figure
sure.
something.
Yeah, absolutely. Make a PowerPoint.
Yeah, I've got Hanafuda cards. And the main thing is, it's not that I'm against showing my face. I mean, I'm not any more of an ugly motherfucker as anybody else. Like, I don't think I'm that bad looking.
For sure.
The main thing is I've got a mom and a girlfriend that think that like a fucking hit squad is summoned to come get you the moment you put your face online. I'm not even kidding you. That's like half an exaggeration. Like, they don't understand the internet. They think that it's like some fucking death trap to put your face out there. So.
I get it though. Just from like the I do get it because of like the shit you hear. Like, like I'd never put my kids on the YouTube channel. I don't really.
Oh no, don't do that. Yeah.
I'm in a special. I feel very privileged,
nuts.
and I'm sure you feel privileged too. We have smaller channels, and I feel like with the smaller channel comes a lot of power because I say shit, and a lot of it's just for fun, and sometimes I just want to see how much trouble I can get Prime in. If I'm being completely honest, like I'll say stuff sometimes, and I'm like, dude, Prime's gonna get so much backlash for what I'm saying right now, and it's fun in games, but like. The poor dude, I see like the comments he gets. I'm like, dude, I've said like such ridiculous stuff on the podcast and gotten like no backlash at all. But I know it's because like I'm nobody.
That's the same with me, man. Dude, I'm already. You want to talk about being like I honestly I kill channels at around 500 subs, man. And so I'm kind of half working on that now. Like all I do on this fucking channel now is the Liquored Up lives because people like them.
Yeah.
And I do an occasional live stream with like Phil where I play like fucking Dispatch or some shit. And all of my actual video content has migrated to Switch After Dark, which is the other channel. So I joke that I'm in the process of fucking killing this channel because once I get the monetization, like I don't want to do that. I want to keep this a hobbyist thing. There's a lot of bullshit that comes with that, including starting. And I'm not even saying I would get that big, but it's just I'm way past Dunbar's number. Are you familiar with Dunbar's number?
Mm-mm.
So, Robin Dunbar was a sociologist who said that there is a finite amount of mental space we can have for other individuals, and so. There's an argument about what that number is, but it's usually anywhere from 1,500 to 150 people. Once you start getting past 150 people is what the lower end of that says. That's what Dunbar proposed. You start to forget other people or you start to not be able to compartmentalize them as well. So the more people you start, the more you grow your circle and your subs and all that, it gets to a point where you can't have a meaningful relationship with everybody around you. And that's the premise of Dunbar's number. And there's far-reaching consequences to that, not just for social relationships, but also the way we structure and organize ourselves, whether it's economies, whether it's nations, whether it's cities. And I just feel like the smaller and more intimate you can stay, typically the better.
Yeah.
And so that's what I try to do here on here. And like I said, I've met a lot of really awesome ass people. Honestly, I wanted to pull the plug on this fucking thing at 200 subs, and people just really like the Liquored Up live, so I do it for them.
I mean, this is such a great format for I don't know, just like the free flow conversation and just hanging out and chatting it's a lot of fun. I'm glad you're having fun. Yeah, that's part of why I do it. And it's one of those things, and again, like usually I'm the type, I've got a long history on the internet actually, and usually I'll pop smoke and ghost long before now, but I've met so many cool people on here. I would honestly dude.
Shit if I ghosted now. So not a chance of that happening. I'm kind of around for the long haul this time. So
I feel
So Rush Dog says Zero Escape trilogy. Yes. Rush Dog also says, have you guys played the touch controls on DS Zelda games? Twilight Princess is way better than they are. We don't talk about those games, Rush. We don't talk about fucking Spirit Tracks in this. We don't talk about that. What do you mean? Aren't those Philips games? Aren't those CDI games too?
They do feel like spinoffs for sure.
Yes. Hey, my kid likes trains. Let's put trains in Zelda.
I like trains too, but I don't think it was a good fit.
Not in Zelda. Not in fucking Zelda. Twilight Princess was so clearly inspired by Peter Jackson Lord of the Ring films and its aesthetic. I think that was definitely part of that. Also, just Ocarina of Time. I think that was largely part of the backlash to Wind Waker's art style. Again, I'll never understand it.
Yeah, it was reactive.
That's what happened. Yeah, it was a reactionary thing for sure. You don't need the invisibility cape. Okay, so you do not need the invisibility cape in Link to the Past. Okay, my instincts were correct on that.
There you go.
But it sure makes things really, really much easier sometimes. That thing drains magic like a motherfucker, though, man.
Oh yeah.
They punish you for using that fucker. Link to the Past has a lot of items you don't need. The magic medallions, for example. Yeah, and what's cool is I always love the book too. Like the fucking book that is literally you use it to open up a dungeon. It's also the spell book for your actual combat spell. Really cool. Detail. Zelda 1 had puzzles. Yeah, we went over that. We went over that wrong opinion, Rush Dog. Zelda 2 had fetch quests. I remember having to go find I Am Error. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, whatever happened to that guy?
I don't know, but he needs to make a fucking comeback for like.
All right.
When was the last time a game blew you away the way Breath of the Wild blew us all away in 2017? Ooh. Recently, Void Strangers. Void Strangers and Fear and Hunger. But I don't know if it's, but I don't know if it's the same level. Yeah, it's not the same level as Breath of the Wild. But before Breath of the Wild, it was Dark Souls.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's different games for different reasons. I mean, I think post Breath of the Wild, I think the game that wowed me most similarly to Breath of the Wild was probably Ghost of Tsushima. And I know that Ghost of Tsushima is a little bit more formulaic and maybe a little bit closer to like a Ubisoft type game, but the beauty of that game and the art style and the foliage and just like the serene music and the game, literally like the mechanic, your compass is literally following the wind in that game, it wasn't as organic as Breath of the Wild, but it gave an artificial sense of like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know, just like this beauty and this freedom of just existing in this world. Different reasons. I mean, Dark Souls 1, Demon Souls, Dark Souls 3, Elden Ring. I don't talk too much about Dark Souls 2, Bloodborne. Those are games that all wowed me for different reasons. Probably
Bloodborne is really good.
Yeah. Unbelievably good. I'm very partial to Dark Souls 3. That game's very special to me. And I know it's probably not the best Miyazaki game, but I really, really love Dark Souls 3.
No, one of my best friends, V, screams at me every time Dark Souls 3 comes up. Play the Ring City, Zoo. Play the Ring City. I still
if you're sick in the head, a game punishes you hard, dude. Oh my god.
I still haven't done it. I need to get back into Dark Souls.
It is 3. Ring City's brutal. Yeah. No joke, brutal. Like right from the get-go too.
Well, apparently thematically it brings the whole series home, apparently.
Yep. But last one that I'll mention, like currently, Expedition 33,
I hear amazing things about that.
Oh, dude. Zoo, do you like JRPGs in general?
I love JRPGs.
Oh my God, please play it. If you get an opportunity, please.
Okay.
First off, music, like we talk about music in this show. I pre-ordered, there's like a limited edition vinyl. I pre-ordered it like immediately.
OJ from Player Essence has been pushing me on that one. I'm like, my PC can't run it. He's like, get a new PC then. I'm like, okay, maybe.
Yeah, it's a special game. It's a game to celebrate, a game to talk about. And knowing that a game of that caliber came from a team that's so small, their first time making something like that is like it makes you question a lot of other things happening in the industry today. I'll just say that.
Well, it's one I'm definitely like. I saw that game and I'm like, that speaks to me like on a more visceral level. So I'm sure at some point I will have to encounter that game. And I am getting ready to get a new PC because this one is probably on its way out. I'm working with another YouTuber who knows a lot more the fuck what he's doing as far as building a PC.
Yeah.
And he has recommended I get. He's got a build for me that I'm probably going to be putting together before long, just because this PC just doesn't handle editing quite like I want to. He said he told me when I get this new PC, the editing will feel like cheating.
There you go.
On it. So.
Don't ask me because I don't know shit about building PCs. I was joking on the podcast last night. We were talking about the Steam machine, and everyone's going around giving their thoughts, and we're talking about like PC gamers, and I didn't say I was joking on the podcast, but I most certainly was when I was saying that PC gamers belong in a straitjacket and should be locked up because
that's a valid opinion.
Deranged.
That's valid, man.
So
no, we're crazy motherfuckers. Now one thing you mentioned you were interested in the GameCube, so I want to sell you on the Zoo Cube. So I can do what that cube. I can do it much cheaper for you.
Okay.
Do you have an Xbox One controller or a PlayStation?
I do.
Okay.
I have both. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have an extra long HDMI cable?
If extra long means like 5 or 6 feet, then yes. If not, then no.
Okay. Well, cook that up to a television set, and you now have a Steam box. That's what I try to tell people.
I love it.
So, and it's literally free for you. It's $80 for people that have none of those components. But that's my joke. But anyway.
I love it.
Let's see here. In A Link to the Past, one of the medallions is needed to open Dungeon 6 in Dark World. True. Well, actually, unless you're sequence breaking and you're using exploits, but that's kind of cheating, to be fair. There is a way to get in that dungeon without, but let's see. Calamity Ganon is completely lacking in pathos and even agency. Plus, the name sucks. Yeah, Calamity Ganon. It almost sounds like the Beverly Hillbillies in a way.
Yeah, it's goofy. Yeah, Calamity Ganon's a disaster, literally.
Yeah, I might be in terms of the execution, and especially now being followed with rehydrated Ganon. I might be reading a little bit too much of my own fascination.
But here's the thing, man. Like, you're not wrong about that setup. Like, that lore is interesting. It's the lack of that devout follower, the corrupt sorcerer who's
instead you get Master
helping
Kofi
bring forth. Ass. Yeah, right.
Let's see here. Rush Dog says Zelda had direct sequels before. They're not all retelling of the same legend. Zelda 2 had Majora's Mask or Clay. Yeah, that's true, Rush, and I agree with that. What I would say, though, is that game, because it doesn't take place literally like a few years later in the same fucking world space with entirely different towers and different civilizations and a guy that's supposed to be a force of nature and nothing but malice, and now he's walking and talking and plotting. God, it's a mind fuck. That's all. It's a mind fuck, man.
I mean, Rush Dog, you got to look at it like this. Like, yes, there's sequels within the franchise, but like, think of it like Final Fantasy. You know, there's 10, there's 10-2, there's 13-2, 13 Lightning Returns. There are sequels that exist within Final Fantasy, but each of them are a new fantasy minus the few sequels that exist. Yeah. So there's exceptions, but generally the overall feeling feels like a new legend.
Yeah, Rush Dog then says, I know what you're saying, Zoo, but I just didn't feel that malice when I played the game. I felt nothing for him. I think you're in the mass majority there. I think you really have to reach. I think you have to stretch Armstrong that bitch in order to feel anything for Calamity Ganon, for sure. But I see what they were going for, and I respect the hustle, I guess is what I'll say.
Sure.
Breakable weapons can be done well. Look at Dark Souls. And yeah, we discussed that for sure. 100%. Breath of the Wild would have been better if only the early wooden weapons were breakable, which once again we discussed, and I agree with that completely. Phil, what up? Collects in the house. What's up, bro? What's going on, Phil? Rush Dog says, I think another Breath of the Wild style game could still be great. You just have to change the map and setting. I want to see the Majora's Mask. I want to see the Majora's Mask to Breath of the Wild's Ocarina of Time.
Here's what I want, and maybe you might disagree, Zoo, because I know
Delicious.
like you get a little bit annoyed with some of the people that exist in that world. But one disappointing factor on Tears of the Kingdom, and I was like, I remember when it was announced, I was like, dude, I can't wait to see, because Breath of the Wild, it's like a post-apocalyptic Zelda to a degree.
Yes.
So, there's not like the towns and the cities really. I mean, there's a few, but it doesn't feel like this populated, living, breathing world.
It's fucking dire.
It's dire.
Yeah.
So I thought Tears of the Kingdom, I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to see like how bustling Castletown is, and like the different like cities that have popped up since, as times like how they've built up. And you don't really have that. You have like outposts and like a couple like additions to the towns, but it's not a living, breathing world. So
100%. Here's my hot take. Phil says that people ain't liking. Don't support the Switch 2 or buy any Nintendo first-party titles for it if you hate key cards and the horrible direction Nintendo is going. So we were talking a little bit about that in the bar, Phil, and I feel you on that. So keep in mind, I've set out Nintendo twice in my life. Twice. I set out for the GameCube, and I set out for the Wii U. Set out. Didn't appeal to me, retreated into PC gaming. I'll do it if I have to, but I don't want to. That's the thing. I really, really don't want to, and I don't feel like I am that difficult of a customer. Maybe I am, but all I want, like, I'll deal, like, I don't expect, here's the thing, and here's a hot take for everybody. When it comes to Nintendo and their historical relationship with the partners, and I say that with as much vitriol as I can spew, I don't expect a goddamn thing from the partners. I don't expect a fucking thing from them. They have always left Nintendo hanging. They have always had a near adversarial relationship with Nintendo and their business interests and the direction they want to push gaming in. I don't give a fuck what they do. I really don't, for the most part. They can put every goddamn game on a key card, and that's fine. Like, yeah, there'll be some games I want to play, but as long as the indies are rocking and rolling, and they seem to be showing up, and Nintendo is rocking and rolling, I can stomach it. But now with this Pocopia thing, my concern and my question is Nintendo quitting the field too for physical gamers? And if they are, what the fuck is the reason for me to stay? Why would I stick around? And that's a question that is yet to be answered. We will find out. We're going to find out real quick, because I think Yoshi is a Nintendo published game with a second party company. And if that stays on a cartridge, I'm going to be willing to hear it out a little bit more. If that goes on a key card, yeah, fuck it. I'll just that's a bottle of wine in France, man. Fuck this system. But like, I don't know, man. I mean, and I get that most people don't care about physical gaming the way I do. I get that. And I'm not gonna super sour grapes it, Phil. If it goes that way, I'll just go do other shit. I've got 500 Switch games to play, man. I'm gonna be fine with gaming. I'm gonna have amazing experiences. I can retreat to PC. I really hope but here's the thing. I'm a goddamn good customer. Like, I single-handedly, like, I don't know how much I spent on my Switch collection. Most of those games were purchased new, deliberately so, because I wanted to support this system. And I don't know. I feel like that's worth preserving, but maybe they feel differently, and that's up to them. It's entirely in their court. I don't know. What say you, GameBird?
Oh, man. How much do I say on this one? So I mean, do you want me to stick to like just like the key cards in general, or should we talk about like the Pocopia situation
I
that
mean,
kind of
you
blew up?
wherever you want to start. I'm
Okay,
very
yeah,
interested to hear your take on this, and maybe
got
you're
it. Okay.
and hopefully I have hope you're a pro key card guy. And the reason for that is I've been meaning to get somebody on that can defend this bullshit to me and make it make sense.
I am man, how do I put this? Oh gosh. It's nuanced. I'm very
Okay.
nuanced in my thoughts. So I'm not pro key card, but I'm not anti key card. And what I mean by that is like I don't care that key cards exist, but I know that key cards aren't for me. And I have
Okay.
no
Yeah.
intention of ever buying a key card ever.
Yeah.
I personally don't see a point to it. That being said, I've been as a physical collector, I've been preparing myself for a very long time.
Sure.
For like the digital age in gaming. And I'm finally at a point where, at least on the Nintendo side, I feel comfortable buying just the big first party titles like Mario, Smash, Zelda, the big first party games physical, as I've done with Switch
Yeah,
2. And then
that's enough for me too. If they'll do it, if they'll fucking do it, that's enough for me.
yes, and that's happy. And I've been fine. Like one of my favorite series of all time is the Yakuza series. I love it. I'm obsessed. I love Yakuza so much. I already have it physically on the PS4 and stuff and PS5.
Yeah.
But when Switch 2 came out, I bought the digital version of Zero, and I'm going to be getting
Sure.
the digital versions of all the Yakuza games. So I have them on my hybrid console so I could play them on the
So
go when
yeah,
I want to
so just
revisit
to
them.
interject real quick. So
Yeah.
you also buy a lot of digital games on consoles too.
So I've started buying.
Yeah,
I want to clarify that. So
okay.
last gen, I have next to zero digital. Like unless they were digital only, like indies games that just never came to physical, that I really wanted to play. It was like
Right, you're not gonna punish
99%
yourself in that case.
physical.
Right.
A few exceptions. I did double dip on Tears of the Kingdom because I had to own it physically, but there's no way I wasn't gonna not play my favorite series at 9 p.m. Like it's just fucked up, like knowing that everyone else is playing my favorite game except for me. So
No,
I like that.
I feel
I
you, man.
had to double dip, and yeah, whatever. I'll take the judgment. I was weak, but
No judgment here, man.
I started before I knew about key cards. I started preparing myself to start to be more comfortable with owning digital media, and there's a very specific reason for that. And I actually talked about this on the podcast, and it was funny. Thunderstash had a moment. This was like months ago, like 4 months ago. Thunderstash was like, "Holy shit, dude!" He's like, I think about this sort of stuff all the time, and I like to think I've thought about like every angle, and this is something I've never thought about, and that's really scary. But what it was I've had this thought, probably like a year leading up to the launch of Switch 2, of people who start adopting and going like full digital are smarter. And let me explain myself, because I know it's going to ruffle. I'm a physical collector, and the reason why, it's not the convenience side. The reason why is, unfortunately, because physical collectors are a dying breed, and we're the minority, period. Doesn't matter how passionate you are about it. I'm so passionate. My kids could give a rat's ass about physical media.
I think so. I think if you look at it in terms of people who are intransigent, they will not buy anything but physical. I think that is a very small minority.
Very small.
Now, if you look at the breakdown, I think people. I still think it's getting closer. I still think it's roughly 50-50, give or take a push-pull either direction in terms of sales. Maybe leaning towards digital. But in terms of people that will only buy physical, I do think I think I'm the minority, 100%.
We're a very small minority, but and I hear what you're saying, that it's close, but I think when you include, like, obviously a lot of kids, like when I buy my kids games, I buy them physical. If I buy my kids a game for Christmas or a birthday, I'm not
So they can open
getting them a gift card and be like, oh, get whatever you want on the eShop.
Yeah, you
No,
want to
I
open
buy
the
them a
present.
game. I'm like, oh, this is a sick game that I'm going to get my kids.
Yeah.
But like I could tell you from the kids and the friends is like the kids, like there's a lot of instant gratification, and even the thought of like getting the case, opening it up, taking out the game, swapping the cartridge is a pain in the butt to them. And like the thought of losing the cartridge, which my youngest has thought he's done multiple times, and like, you know, shed tears over it. I can't find my game anywhere because they're kids and they don't always think to put their kids back. So I think that age is like just sadly, you know, it's people are just with each passing year caring less and less. But this wasn't the part that Thunderstash hadn't thought about, and this was the part that scared me, is that if you don't start adopting digital media when it comes to video games, eventually, whether it's next generation or the generation after, you're going to be left behind, period. And what I mean by that is a console is going to come out that's not compatible with physical media. It could be the PS6, could be the first to make the plunge, could be the Switch 3 or the next Nintendo console. Maybe we get one more digital generation with the option of a physical drive that you could put in your discs or your game cards. But eventually, and if it's not next gen, it's the gen after, I guarantee you. And what that means is that everything you buy for that previous like if they do a Switch 3 and they make it an all digital machine, it's inevitable at some point. It means that everything you bought you cannot play on the future console, and you have to rely on old hardware. You have that story of, you know, us talking about the Saturn, you know, and you just can't play those games anymore. So there's an element of being left behind that's really scary, and your library not carrying over. And I don't know, like I hate that future, but it is inevitable. And sometimes I get a little frustrated with some of the vitriol against Nintendo with the key cards, because I do think of companies like Netflix that have caused like way more damage to like also, physical media.
Also, PlayStation and Microsoft. Also,
yeah, absolutely. And yeah, well, yeah, people don't even think about the fact that so many of these games that are coming out on disc, the whole game's not even on the disc, and they require an internet connection or some sort of a patch or download to even run.
So and what I'll say about that is I get that point. That's an argument I see a lot. What I'll tell you is you just don't buy those games. Like, so for example, there are a lot of games that I have over 500 Switch games that run absolutely fine with no patches, anything. Most of those patches actually are different languages. That's a very common thing. Or it's a small tweak, or it's taking fucking Gerard the Completionist out of stars. It's a lot of shit that doesn't matter. Now, there are games, for example, Ys 10 or Ys 9. That game, you can't even finish the fucking game without a patch. Without a download patch. And so you just don't buy those games. Now, what I will say is, are you ready to hear my response to Stash and he's working on me on this. Stash sees this as an affront because I'm a passionate gamer. He's a passionate gamer, and he would hate to see this happen to me. But here was my response. And again, we're Stash and I are working through this ourselves. But my response is, are you familiar with Marcus Aurelius?
Yeah.
He has a great quote. He says, "Death smiles at us all. All we can do is smile back."
Mm-hmm.
So my response to the people who say you'll be left behind, okay. I've made peace with that, man.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. Like I totally understand that. I get scared of being left behind, and I've started to embrace the digital age. But the reason why is because, like, do I hate digital media? Yes, I like owning. I like having my physical I said this on the podcast. I have a beautiful physical collection that I've built since I was a little boy.
Right.
In this room, this wall that you guys can't see is a timeline of happy moments, special memories by myself, memories with friends, memories of birthday gifts and Christmas gifts, and whatever, relationship timelines, all sorts, everything. Like I can timeline my life with my video game collection. A lot of nostalgia and a lot of joy. And I'm content with what I have. Do I want more? Absolutely. At the end of the day, I love video games, and I'll be sad when physical media is gone, but it's not gonna take away. I'm not gonna let that mean that I no longer play a hobby that I have a deep love for. This for the same reason that, like, yes, you could still buy DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff like that, but
Right.
you know, any day now, like, I mean, look at retail, like that shit barely exists in retail. Like, I'm not going to stop watching movies because, you know, eventually we're not going to have theaters anymore. The theater industry is hanging on by an ass hair right now.
I'm
And
so sad about that.
it devastates me, dude, because I love going to the movies.
It's one of my
It's a different experience. And, you know, we talk about immersion and stuff. What better way to be immersed than just being there with the popcorn and the soda and, you know,
There's something special about
and hearing the emotion from the crowd.
Something special about it.
But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna be like, well, I'm never watching a movie again. You know,
that's an interesting parallel that you draw.
But
I like.
And here's the thing.
That's interesting.
Here's the thing, man. I feel for you as a collector. I feel for you. I feel for every single person out there. We're a dying breed. We're literally going.
We're at the fucking Alamo, man, for sure.
You know, we have people who are excited about NFTs, like owning a digital image. Like, it's this
the NFT shit.
Yeah, dude. And that shit was bleeding into the games industry. That's a lot scarier than digital games.
Got it off the ground.
That's a lot scarier than game cards, let me tell you. But
well, and Stash, that's the thing, is like Stash is just, that's kind of his thing. He's like, dude, it's clear from like watching your reviews and listening to you, you're passionate about this. Love
he's a passionate dude.
You can't quit. No, we're gonna work on this. That's how Stash is.
And that's the thing.
We'll work through that, man.
The day that, and I pray it's not the next one. You know, we spent a massive chunk of tonight talking about Zelda, my favorite series. The day Zelda comes out and as a key card or digital download only, and I can't have that, is going to cause me so much pain. But you know what? It doesn't mean that, like, well, I don't play Zelda anymore. It means that I don't support fake physical media. And, like, we're just in a digital future, and I want to play this game. So I will buy it digitally.
That's a great point too. I think that's where a lot of the vitriol comes from with game key cards, at least for me. Is it's not so much that I actually don't hate game key cards at all. Actually, it's not the game key card itself. The game key card is a tool. It's a format. It's a third format, just like digital games, just like physical games. It's a third way. If only the games industry could see it as a third way instead of a replacement for the thing I love. And I think that's where a lot of the vitriol comes from. If they were treating it as a third way to do things, and they weren't using it to push out the thing that a lot of people like, I think you have an entirely different reaction to game key cards. I do. I think a lot of it is just the way they've mismanaged the whole thing.
Yeah.
If it were like that, my vitriol, there would be no vitriol. It would be like, oh, you like game key cards? Awesome. And by the way, I'm still like that. I try to tell people.
Yeah, dude.
The people that are going around,
buy the format you want to buy. Like, that's the beauty of it.
100%. And let me say that, like, here's the thing is the market will speak on this no matter what. It's going to decide this. And I see people that are going around specifically yelling at game key card people or game key card people yelling at physical media. I had some dipshit and my thing, they'd be like, oh, fucking boo-hoo. Just get a block. I'm not even going to bother with you. Because if you're literally going around harassing somebody for the format of their choice, I don't give a fuck what it is. Don't do that, please. Like,
yeah, no, dude. People need to buy what they want to buy, and it's funny because, you know, we get a lot of the discourse around these, but you know, people who are young, who are like just getting into this hobby or into the game sphere, there's going to be people who are like entering it for the first time where game key cards are a thing. So you know damn well there's going to be like hardcore game key card collectors.
There already are. Have you seen the key card gang?
I haven't, but I just know it's going to exist because there's something for everyone.
No, it's a real thing. Yeah, game key card thing is a real thing. Yeah,
yeah. And you know that if game key cards go away, people are going to be having the same conversations. Fuck you. I'm not supporting your system then.
Yeah, people get attached
game key cards are my favorite format.
Yeah, people, and that's what it is. It's a format. And again, it's if game key cards were not in opposition to physical media, if they were just if they would,
it's more about physical media dying.
That's what it is. It's not so much exactly. So it's I really do think that, and maybe not everybody. There might be some people who are like, no, fuck game key cards, and that might be the case. I'm only like fuck game key cards because it's literally they're using it as a wedge to chip away at my preferred format, and that's where I'm coming from on that. But yeah, good conversation on that. Now we finally did it, chat. We finally found somebody who at least would talk a little bit about this in a way that isn't just fuck key cards. Which again, trust me, I'm with you guys, but we got to get some other perspectives on the show sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I have no intention of ever buying one, but like,
right.
and you know what? I got to be honest with the Pocopia thing because it's funny that's the game where
you had some stuff on that too.
Exploded. For me, like I was not phased by the key card part with that game. I was phased by the $70 price tag. I was like, really? Like Fantasy Life
thing phased me, yeah, because I was fascinated by this Eldritch Horror Ditto and the lore implications for what the fuck that means. Oh my God, that is the most horrifying fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, where can I get more?
I love that though.
No, it's a game.
I love it.
And it's $70.
Yeah.
And I'm with Prime on that too, which is like, what the fuck?
The 70, I understand people being like, what the F about the $70 price point. Yeah. I didn't really care about it's like a super spin-off game. Most Pokemon spin-off games have actually been not very good. I mean, not to knock anyone who like is obsessed with like Mystery Dungeon and all like the weird spin-offs, but they're not like exactly premier titles. I highly doubt, and I'll stand corrected. If the Gen 10 is keycard only, I stand corrected. But I doubt right now that Gen 10 is going to be keycard. I look at this as like a weird kind of mini spin-off game. I think the bigger crime is like, what about this game makes it $70? I understand that's the next gen standard. But like this year we got Fantasy Life. I'm not the biggest cozy game fan. Fantasy Life is rad. The new one,
Dude, Jay from Cold Nights Gaming and Miss Mandia are screaming at me to play that one.
Dude, it's very hard. It's very hard for me because I don't like Animal Crossing. I find Animal Crossing really boring. I'm not a fan of the series. I'm hoping I get into one day. Fantasy Life, dude, addicting. It feels like a mix of like Animal Crossing meets Zelda, but there's skill trees and multiple classes and side quests and like all the things that you wish Animal Crossing had. But then it's like $49.99. I think it's $49.99. I might be corrected. It might be $59. It's not $70, that's for sure. And the Switch 2 edition upgrades $2 on it. So it's like, what about Pocopia justifies that $70 price point? Because I would have expected more of a $49.99 or at the high end $59.99 price tag. So I understand people being taken aback by the price point. The game key card on that one, I don't really care. It's like a side spinoff. Listen, if we get the next 3D Mario and that's a key card, or like I said, the Zelda game, then it's like sound the alarm bells.
Oh, bro, that's game over.
Yeah, fucked. Yeah. But then it's like there's nowhere to go, and I do get frustrated. A lot of the people, shitting on Switch 2 and doing a lot of these like really hardcore videos. A lot of them are big like Steam, like pushing the Steam Deck and stuff. But it's like you're here complaining about game key cards while promoting the Steam Deck.
that is one thing you'll never see from me, buddy. I am as constant as the Northern Star.
Sure.
I shit talk Sony, Microsoft, and even Steam constantly for the digital shit. Like, yeah, I am as constant as the Northern Star. Now, do I have some digital games on PC?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mass Effect Legendary Edition was like $6 fucking dollars or $8 or some crazy shit like that. And that was kind of my opening warm up to digital game. I still don't know what the fuck I would ever buy a key card for.
Yeah.
But Rush Dog likes to point to my breaking point on digital being that $8 fucking Mass Effect Legendary Edition. And I got to tell you, that trilogy is one of the best experiences I've ever had in my fucking life with a video game. And it was
Hell
digital.
yeah. I've never played Mass Effect 3. I need to get around to that one.
Oh, especially now.
But love
Apparently,
one and
it was
two.
really fucking broken when it came out, like really not good. And now it's my favorite in the series.
One was really hard for me to get through. I quit one multiple times because I hated the rover missions so much.
Yeah, that rover does magical fucking things.
But you know what? I have a weird thing. It's funny. Oftentimes I feel like I'm the odd man out on Nintendo because I have takes sometimes that I don't know. I don't know. I have weird takes, I guess, sometimes. I feel like I'm on the minority on stuff. We've done a few episodes talking about Metroid Prime, and you remember when Prime 4 got that announcement or with the trailer with the motorcycle?
Yeah, which there's another controversy I did not understand because, again, I look at Metroid as Nintendo's take on sci-fi. That's fucking Akira, man.
Yeah.
That's Akira all day fucking long. Also the desert, Dune, and the psychic powers, Dune.
Everyone on the podcast was amped on the motorcycle. I'll say this. I was cautiously optimistic, and there's a reason for it.
It's Akira.
Listen, I have no issues with how it looks, and I love the motorcycle slide from Akira. I love it.
Fuck yeah.
So I'm a big anime fan, so like you don't have to sell me on how cool that stuff was. It's not that. In video games, where driving is not a core mechanic of the game, I find that oftentimes the vehicle sections suck.
That's a real concern.
Are actually hurt the game.
Yeah.
Batman Arkham Knight lost points in most of its reviews because of the Batmobile sections weren't as good as
that's real. Game. That's real.
I think about how much I hated the vehicles in Borderlands because of how shitty they controlled. I'm like, I don't want to drive. Can someone, like, if I played with friends, please can someone else drive? I hate this thing. So many games where like vehicle is a side part of it and feels like ass. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I think the motorcycle stuff looks cool, but I have to be honest in saying that I'm concerned in that most games that have vehicles as a side, dude. I mean, even look at, I don't know if you played Witcher, but Roach in Witcher 3 controls like ass. Dude, it controls
Roach is like
a
blue-eating horse or some shit. That horse is subhumanly stupid.
So,
well, he's a horse, to be fair. But
my concern is, I hope they fucking nailed the motorcycle, because if it controls like shit, if it doesn't feel good, if it doesn't feel as top quality as Metroid games feel, or it feels like an inconvenience as opposed to being on foot, it's going to hurt people's opinions of this entry.
And we don't need that.
For me, feels like a critical entry for the survival of this, not Metroid. I know we'll get Metroids, but if you care about the Prime series, you want this to be like a 96, 95, 94%. You know what I mean?
So I hope they use the vehicle like I think they're going to use it. I don't think we're actually getting an open world Metroid or even quasi open world. I'm hoping that those are controlled sections a la something like Astral Chain that gets you from one place to another in like a stylish way that hide a load screen. Now, I'm judging by what I've seen, they're going to be doing more than that. That's the unfortunate part.
Sure.
But ideally, that's what they would use that motorcycle for, is a stylish way to get you from area to area for the big open areas, right?
And there is someone that I've talked to in the background, and they've given me little tidbits about Metroid Prime that's exciting. I messaged them right after we got that motorcycle trailer. And what they said was basically that the desert area, because a lot of people are like, it looks so barren and stuff. They're like, the game is going to have that classic Metroidvania formula, but there's multiple open areas in that they're not all like barren like that desert are. That's just indicative of that desert scene that we saw. But there is going to be much more of a variety of that. That'll be more pleasant on the eyes for some people.
Oh, and we've already seen some of the other areas.
Sure.
They'll definitely mix it up, but I will question the marketing that they keep showing the empty desert constantly. I will question that.
Yeah.
Stop
my
it.
hope, you know what my hope for it is that it's actually the setting for a massive world boss, like a massive sandworm or something emerges from the sand. Then if they turn that huge area into a giant arena for a massive, larger than life boss
I
fight
can see it
on a motorcycle, dude, that's sick.
Keep it in mind that the of course, Alien for Metroid, but one of the forgotten things that Gumpy equate is Dune.
Yep.
If you think about the energy crisis, and the Metroids are a solution to that energy crisis, and that's all Dune, man.
Yeah.
So they're already drawing from the psychic powers, the psionic powers from Dune. So why not throw the fucking sandworm in? I would be disappointed if we don't get it.
They better do a damn direct for this game, dude, before it launches. I'm gonna be so pissed.
I'm of that opinion too, man.
I will be pissed. And don't, for the love of God, Nintendo, if you're listening, don't you dare ever shadow drop anything Metroid related again. Please. Not the title to do that.
See, I hate how Nintendo treats Metroid because, here's the thing. I always have this thing I talk about where I liken games to satisfying different appetites.
Sure.
So when I go to a restaurant, sometimes I have an appetite for steak, or I might have an appetite for a chicken sandwich. So it's important to have all of those on your menu. It's important to have something for everybody. And so even though Metroid might not be the biggest seller, although I made the argument to Prime, 2.73 in 1980 and 86 is enormous.
Yeah. Thankfully. Yeah, that's a big
enormous. Deal. But the point is, it didn't sell what Metroid or it didn't sell what Mario or Zelda sold. But what it did is, anybody who goes to an arcade, most people are playing Donkey Kong or Pac-Man or Space Invaders, but in the back of the arcade, in the smoke-filled corner there, the cool kids are playing the Defender 2 cabinet. That's what Metroid's supposed to be. Yeah. Anybody who says Nintendo's a kiddie company or they're not edgy, kindly fucking point them to Metroid. So it's important for that reason. And I feel like that gets lost on Nintendo because all they look at is sales in this case. No, sure. Metroid satisfies an appetite that no other game in your catalog does. It's a sci-fi survival epic.
Yeah. Well, and that's, dude, this is why what you just described is why we need a direct, because Nintendo actually needs to answer the question, what is Metroid? Because the fact of the matter is most people have never played a Metroid game, especially most current and new gamers. When people see those trailers and the directs that we've gotten, they think oh, it's a first person shooter. It's like a Call of Duty or Titanfall or, something like that. And it's not that. That's not what the game is.
Well, it would help if we had a person at the helm of Metroid who understands what the fuck Metroid is. That would help.
For sure.
Because Sakamoto, a lot of the blame gets hurled at Team Ninja's feet for Other M, and nope. I'm sorry, that story was fucking trash.
Yeah.
In Mommy Metroid. And I can say anything I want about Eiji Aonuma and how he devastated Zelda with some of those games, and it almost got to a point of no return. I can say that all I want. He never put the Zelda franchise in the position that Sakamoto did Metroid.
Right.
And it's all the more terrible because Metroid didn't have that far to fall to get there, and he fucking did it. It's unforgivable. It's fucking unforgivable.
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with Eiji Aonuma. I mean, he only really started losing me with some of the handheld stuff on Zelda. Like the DS era, like Phantom Hourglass especially. That game I actually might be my most hated Zelda game.
More than Spirit Tracks?
More than Spirit Tracks, and there's a specific reason.
Damn.
So, yeah, there's the core element of Phantom Hourglass is, I think, the worst thing that's ever been done in a Zelda game. It's the fact that you have to. So they actually fix. So Spirit Tracks has some issues, no doubt about that. But it fixes my biggest issue with Phantom Hourglass. Phantom Hourglass. So you have like this tower essentially in the game. It's the only dungeon in the game, and you hit story beats. You go to the tower. You do the first floor. You're timed. You do the first floor. You complete it. You leave. You do the world, and then you have to go back to the tower, but you have to do the second floor. But you can't get to the second floor unless you do the first floor again. So you do the first floor again.
Oh, gosh.
Get to the second floor, and you're timed. And then when you're done, that's the whole hourglass. You're timed. You finish. If you don't finish in time, you got to start over from the first floor. You got to do the first floor again. And then so eventually you've made it to the sixth floor. So you've got to do the first 5 floors of the dungeon, but you've already done the first floor 4 times.
No.
At story beats. So Spirit Tracks has a similar setup. However, you start where you left off in Spirit Tracks. So you're never repeating the same floor. It was obnoxious. It was awful. I don't know how I forced myself through it. I think it's just like, denial, So it's really good as I'm like miserable.
Yeah. And my thing with that whole thing is I just remember I never played either of them. So I played a little bit of them, but I'll never forget the horror of going into a Walmart and seeing Spirit Tracks in the fucking Bamba bin.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that game. Like, that's a Zelda game, and that's in the fucking bargain bin at Walmart. Like, what in the fuck
that's wild.
world am I living in right now?
But then we got a Link Between Worlds, which to me is that game's rad. Love it. I love it. I love that.
I love A Link Between Worlds. That was
great music too. It has like acoustic.
Well, Rush Dog told me a long time ago. He's like, I know you don't have a 3DS. Find a 3DS to play that game. And I did.
So good.
Let's see here. Rush Dog, because I like Zelda better when they dropped Ganon. Link's Awakening and Majora's Mask were way better for not including him. I think Ganon is overused. I still like him, but I do think he's overused. I would like to see less of him, but more impactful Ganon. I do like Ganon, though, Rush, because Ganon is one of the few Nintendo villains throughout all of Nintendo that maintains his aura. Bowser's a fucking clown now. It's hard to take Ridley seriously the 5th time she fucking dumpsters his ass. Or Kraid. Ganon still has his aura.
It's the Ganondorf that we need, because Ganon's the beast, That's when
I love both of them. I'll take the big guy too. But I don't know how.
I mean, I love both as well. I even love I love the pig themed Ganon, like when they go like all out like blue pig.
But they've got to make the lore right though, which is that that is his inner self. That's how he's a greedy pig guy. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. But I feel like we need more Ganondorf. Not just like more games with Ganondorf, but just more Ganondorf in the game. Like, we talked about like liking villains that kind of like hinder your adventure and show up throughout the adventure. Yeah. I want more of that and more compelling writing. Don't just give me like brute, angry, I want to smash and blow up stuff because I'm evil. Give me like intellectual, like deep philosophical Ganon,
Which Ganon is. Like, he's the Chrono Chief, man.
Yeah. I want like huge monologues that make me go, holy shit, this guy's gnarly.
Yes. Let's see. Phil Went Up Collects, if you already got a Switch 2, that's fine, but just don't pre-order or buy at retail. Buy the first-party games used. I'm not quite there yet, Phil. I'm not quite there yet. So, So what I've told everybody is sadly, I'm not the one with the power, so I don't get to dictate the terms. Nintendo will dictate the terms, and I will respond accordingly. If Nintendo continues to produce good games physically, it would be counterintuitive for me to have a Switch 2 and not reward that. So, I mean, think about that for a second, Philly. And I know you'll see reason here. They do exactly what the fuck I asked them to do, and you punish them for that? That doesn't sound like a good strategy forward. Now, if they don't do what I want them to do, then the only thing you can do is to not play.
Here's the problem. Guys, maybe this is just me being pessimistic. It's a lose-lose situation. Because companies never get the message you're trying to send. Like never.
Well, it's hard because there's a million other people sending another mixed message, right? So.
Right. But here's the thing. Let's say the next mainline Zelda's on a key card. So everyone's like, well, we're not going to buy it, so we could send the message. We don't want key cards.
But then the key card gang goes and buys it.
Well, no, not that. It's that Nintendo doesn't get the message. We don't want key cards. Nintendo gets the message. Oh, I guess people don't like Zelda anymore. It's like how we got Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts. By the way, Banjo-Kazooie is I think is better than Mario 64. Another hot take for you. It's my favorite 3D platformer.
Here's a fun take. When I first played those two games,
yeah,
I was cold toward Mario 64. And it wasn't because of the quality. I think Mario 64 is probably a good game. I didn't like the Z-axis and only having one thumbstick.
Sure.
I think the Switch is helping me with 3D Mario because some of those games really had one stick. Now you got two. So I think that helps me. So there was that, but also the fact that I identified Mario as a tactile, arcade, precision, momentum-based platformer.
For sure.
And what the fuck is this? This is not what I want. Now, Banjo-Kazooie didn't have that problem. Banjo-Kazooie is a brand new property. And so I think I was more open to Banjo-Kazooie. I'm like, oh, okay, I don't know what this is, but this is new, and I'm not going to punish it for expectations that Nintendo's not delivering on. So when you have a built-in IP, you have a built-in expectation for how that IP is
absolutely.
Going
and so
Banjo had a clean slate.
The reason why I bring up Banjo is when Microsoft got Rare and they made a new Banjo-Kazooie called Nuts and Bolts. That was a building kart racer with like physics. People were like, what the fuck? And didn't buy it because that's not what any Banjo-Kazooie fan wanted. And the message Microsoft took was, I guess people don't like Banjo-Kazooie anymore. So it's like, no, we just didn't want this game. We're desperate for Banjo-Kazooie 3. But yeah, companies get the wrong message. They literally get I guess people just don't like this anymore. They're like, so that's always my fear with that stuff.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
They're going to learn the wrong lesson.
Because we made a game that had nothing to do with Banjo. Yeah. By the way, that was me with the whole GameCube generation. I just watched this. Okay, what's this fucking bongo game? What does this have to do with Donkey Kong? And what the fuck is this window washing? What does that have to do with Mario? It's every fucking game on that system, damn near. I was thinking that with, and keep it in mind, I just came from the 64, where we went an entire generation without a goddamn 2D Mario game. So at that point, it was kind of lights out for me for a little while. I'm like, I'm just going to go over here and enjoy my PC.
You know, it's wild. I have very fond memories of the Nintendo 64. And I mean, some of my favorite games of all time exist on that platform. Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, Star Fox 64.
Star Fox 64. Yeah.
But man, if I have to think of, like, if I had to choose my least favorite Nintendo generation, that console might not be the least, but it's in the discussion because let's be real for a second.
I wouldn't argue with you. Yeah.
It's the worst Nintendo controller. Right? Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
It's a monstrosity with a shitty analog stick that wears out fast.
See, and I thought the GameCube was a monstrosity too, but apparently that's comfortable.
I actually love that one. It's
apparently
comfy. I love the triggers.
And it gave you like a real nice analog stick too. So.
Yep.
Or analog buttons.
Yeah, shit controller. oh my gosh, my brain's malfunctioning.
The claw.
The visuals. I mean, it's from a generation, PS1, Nintendo 64. It's probably the ugliest generation, period. I know at the time when it was new, it was like, holy shit, 3D. Like, it's never going to look this good. But now it's like NES and SNES and Sega Genesis. They like the visuals blow 64 and PS1 out of the water.
Those transitional 3D generations did not hold. They're rough.
No, they're rough. They're hideous. There's games that looked amazing for the time, but when you look at collectively every generation of games, it's one of the ugliest generations that's ever existed. One of my favorite genres of all time is completely missing from the Nintendo 64, and it was a staple of what I still think you could argue is the best Nintendo console, Super Nintendo. I think it's between the Super Nintendo and the Nintendo Switch. Like, there's an argument for both. But JRPGs, man, gone. And dude, what a staple for
Switch. Switch still has to find a way to get. I give the edge to Switch because it migrated a lot of the PlayStation games over too that are great.
That's valid.
But it still needs Chrono Trigger and Terra Enigma.
Oh yeah, Terra Enigma.
It needs
classic.
Both. Gotta have them. Otherwise, I have to still give the Super Nintendo its own unique edge.
Yeah, Super Nintendo was just like, I think about like,
Bahamut,
because listen, a lot as Nintendo fans, we have a lot of games that we love where the franchise started on the NES, but think about how they really started on the Super Nintendo. Like, think about like the original Metroid versus Super Metroid. Like, dude, Metroid started on Super Nintendo. That game blew people's minds. Link to the Past. Yeah, I love Zelda on the NES. I love the OG, but Link to the Past, it's a perfect game. It's a perfect game.
So I'm gonna rankle Rush Dog like I always do here. I have to stand up for OG Metroid a little bit.
Totally. No, please do.
Yeah, reason for that is I still like Super Metroid. I think objectively, if you put Super Metroid and Metroid in front of people, I think people are going to navigate towards Super Metroid. I have no qualms about that. And there are a lot of good reasons for this. I think Metroid is a more appealing video game.
Sure.
But in terms of the hardcore experience, which I'll remind people is what Metroid is for, I do think that there is some appeal to that OG Metroid. Metroid was mean. That's a mean motherfucker.
It's abusive.
It had dead ends. It had fake bosses. One of the great things about Super Metroid is you could say it had dead ends, but you at least would get like a missile, or you'd get some power up, or you'd learn how to do the wall jump. A little critter that shows you how to do that. It shows you a mechanic you've never used before. OG Metroid had straight up dead ends. It had fucking fake bosses. I'll never forget definitive experiences beating Kraid and thinking you unlocked that statue in Torian. And nope, turns out there was a fake wall back there and the real Kraid's still there. So hey, have fun, asshole. Go back and fight Kraid now. Like, some crazy shit going on in OG Metroid. The fact that you would literally have to draw your own fucking map, I think there's a unique appeal to that. And I'm not saying that these are not things that Metroid realistically and should have improved upon. Not everybody's a fucking crazy person like me, and they want to have some quality of life in a video game.
Yeah.
But I don't think Metroid gets the respect it deserves these days, because people just think it's this archaic throwback, and it is, and that's the point.
Yeah, I know. I think those are all valid points. I love the OG Metroid. Very, very fond memories. Very, very frustrating memories as well.
Yes,
but I mean, dude, it was a different. I mean, even with the SNES, like gaming was just so different. It was so unforgiving.
It was
brutal.
Yeah,
like you really had to earn your victories in a way that doesn't really exist anymore.
Oh yeah, dude, Super Ghouls and Ghosts still gives me fucking fits.
My god, trauma.
Fuck that game. I actually beat that for
even Mega Man
back in the day. Oh my god.
Even Mega Man, one of the most popular series back in the day.
That goddamn spider boss in X?
Oh
Fuck
my gosh,
that boss.
dude.
That goddamn spider every time. Like, fuck, man. It's Sigma. The first boss is Sigma's Fortress. That spider asshole. Let's see here. Phil says Zoo will completely abandon Switch 2 if the next mainline Zelda is a keycard 100%. Phil, let's not talk about that, man. Yeah, me having to give Nintendo the fucking Godfather 2 kiss of death. You broke my heart, Fredo. Like, now we're gonna try to stay positive, and I'm gonna try to not envision a future where Zelda is on a game key card. Y'all gotta stop with that. Let's not bring that.
Keep dreaming.
Yes.
It's coming. Listen. I will say this. You know what infuriates me more than the key cards and the digital age, and I gotta give Nintendo, because there's a lot of reasons to bust all the company's chops. And you should be critical of the things you love. I think it's healthy. I think it's good. I don't.
It makes them better.
Yeah, it makes them better.
As long as you have constructive criticism too.
Yes, constructive. Yeah. Like guys, it's video games. Keep it constructive.
Yeah, Thunder Stash is famous. It's just video games.
Yeah, guys, it's video games. It's not that serious. Yeah, I love it. But the thing that's worse, and thank God Nintendo, and I know it's gonna happen someday, and I always say this is gonna break this would hurt me way more than Zelda being a keycard game, which is painful. I get it, but thank God Nintendo has been the last bastion of hope for focused single player experiences in a world where most companies are chasing games as service. Sony had an initiative of 10 games of service within 5 years. We see all the studio closures.
Yeah, how'd that turn out, you fucking assholes?
Every company trying to capture the magic of Fortnite and catch lightning in a bottle. Sony already had a victory with Helldivers. It's dude, use your efforts to make that the best games of service since it was an actual success. And stop fucking cannibalizing. You already had a successful game. Just make it better. Build on it now. You did it.
Yeah.
Leave the other shit alone.
And make Nintendo great single player experiences.
And dude, so the games of service Nintendo hasn't really dabbled in, and that is a huge win for gamers, because games of service is killing finished quality single player experiences. And secondly, thank God, dude, the day I get pissed off and the day I say fuck this shit with Zelda is the day I boot up a Zelda game and in the main menu is a cash shop and a microtransaction store with battle pass and season passes and shit.
Dude, yeah, what's that fucking gotcha piece of shit that everybody likes to compare to Breath of the Wild? I'm like, don't even.
Genshin Impact.
Yeah, Genshin Impact. Don't even bring that here. Fuck that game.
Yeah,
the game is fucking gambling.
And I know that stuff is gonna I know eventually it's only a matter of time before stuff like that bleeds its way into Mario Kart and Smash Brothers and Splatoon, because those are games. I was
thinking Splatoon is kind of they're dabbling in it, but even then they give a
dude. It's all free. It's all free content, and then DLC comes out 2 years later. I played
Rise of the Mammalians, and it was fun.
Yeah, no, Splatoon is a complete experience that doesn't require constant payments and microtransactions.
Yeah,
it's a game that I eventually expect will go that route. And dude, Blizzard's caused so much damage. I'm a huge Diablo fan, and dude, it's so egregious now. They put shitty skins in the paid version of the game, and then if you want a good skin, it's $30.
Well, I actually
one
know
skin.
Some of the old school OG Blizzard guys, and I can tell you what fucking happened to that company. And what happened is all of the gamers left, and all these non-gaming fucking suits came in. They tell me that's what happened. I know some of those old OG guys.
It's upsetting, man. And so I get upset with Nintendo about stuff, and I think one of their biggest sins with Switch 2 has been really bad messaging, which I find odd considering that their new president he's the business guy. So I was if any area I thought would get better with Nintendo, I thought it would be the way they message and market.
Well, and that
oddly enough, it seems That scenario that's gotten worse.
Well, and that might be part of the problem, honestly. So Furukawa he's an evil king of numbers like me. So I'm in executive leadership. That's what I do too.
Sure.
I'll tell you what I don't do. I'm not the fucking PR guy. I don't set the PR strategy for the company. I can fucking tell you that. That would be a goddamn disaster. You need a smooth talker for that. You need a Reggie,
right.
Or you need somebody who is wholesome and speaks from the heart, like Iwata.
Sure.
And they don't have that guy right now. You got Miyamoto, but he's busy doing the creative endeavors on the non-gaming into things right now. And again, he's fun and people like him, but he's not that dynamic spokesperson either. You need that guy, and they haven't had that guy since Reggie and Iwata. Iwata could just speak to you. His Heart of the Gamer speech is still one of the greatest things I've ever heard as a businessman. I adore that speech.
Oh, yeah.
I adore that
entire
speech.
Yeah, no, he was a gem. He was a gem.
God,
I think the saddest part with Iwata is, honestly, I think the saddest part about it is that Switch 1 was Iwata's baby.
It was what he was,
He never got to see the success. Literally taking them from like people wanting them to go third party, shareholders complaining that they need to go full mobile,
they wanted to
become third party company. Like they were at their lowest the company has ever been.
They wanted
since they entered video games. Yeah. And his send-off was literally the height of Nintendo's popularity. Wild and really sad that he never got to see it, because like his swan song changed the gaming landscape, and now everyone's trying to come up with their hybrid console.
No, and again, it's that business strategy that I'm in love with. It's a combination of two novel business strategies. One is Blue Ocean strategy. The other is Innovator's Dilemma. So it's it's disruptive innovation theory.
Sure.
And it's a combination of those two things. And he took it, and it worked with the Wii. It worked with the Switch. It didn't quite work with the Wii U, although I understand what the Wii U was going for. I just feel like it missed the idea that, they wanted to separate from the screen. It was the start of their journey toward the Switch, to be real with you. But the problem is they didn't realize that in still continuing to share, everybody already had that little screen in their pocket. It was called a cell phone. And for somehow they missed that but they did foresee the future, and that is that they were right when they said that the future wasn't going to be a big screen in a living room. It was going to be screens everywhere.
Yeah.
And they were trying to adjust for that reality. That's what the Wii U did, that ultimately the Switch fulfilled, I feel like.
Yeah. The Wii U was ahead of its time. Like the technology that Nintendo was working with wasn't there, but the idea was brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So JGEB 8ZC says, "Yo, what's good? Flipping the Switch and GameBird."
Hell yeah.
This is how we do in chat. And then Sips Up. Yeah, I hope you're drinking something good tonight, man. Phil One Up Collects would love to play Donkey Kong Bonanza. Too bad it's on the keycard machine. Well, okay. I understand. Phil, I understand. I do. It is really fucking good. Hey, Donkey Kong Bonanza though, it's really fucking good. Yeah, I mean,
it's a great game.
Fucking good. Let's see. Rush Dog says Smash Melee is also a great example of a fighting game tier list evolving organically without balance patches. The characters that are considered best have changed over the years. Yeah, that was really interesting how they managed to do that without having to, because they had no way to balance or anything back then.
Right.
They had to do it right from the start. Sky Sword Elisa says, yes, unlocking characters is so much more fun than just having them all at the get-go. Yeah, and again, it's really in the execution of that, Elisa, I feel like. So if you're feeling it, there's something wrong, but if all you're feeling is the dopamine spike, got that character, got it, yeah, you're awesome. That's the way to go. And Smash is a great example of that. Like everything you unlock in that game, you're just like, oh, feed it to me, man. Inject that into my fucking veins. Rush Dog says, what's incredible about Mario 3 is how much better it is than every other NES game. That is facts. You can't really say Mario World is way better than every other SNES game. No, that's because the SNES game was really refined. Like everybody brought their A game on the SNES. Whereas with the NES, I feel like a lot of the rules were being made in breakneck speed. Nobody knew what the fuck they were doing. Nobody even knew what a proper sequel was. We're just going to try something. We're going to throw shit at a wall, see what makes it stick. There's a game where you're a digital person who has been absorbed in a computer, and you're whipping people with your fucking hair. Kabuki Quantum Fighter. There is a game in the fucking storyline.
Oh my gosh!
That you're
I can't believe Zoo. I'm sorry, I have to stop you. I can't believe you just name dropped Kabuki Quantum Fighter. I love that game. I've never heard.
It's an amazing
I have it.
fucking game.
I literally have it over there.
No, it's great. Yeah.
I've never heard someone mention that game before. I like you just stop me. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
No, it's okay. Yeah,
you just name drop Kabuki Quantum Fighter.
Kabuki Quantum Fighter is fucking incredible.
A gem.
Speaking of gems, there's another game where you're a cop and they blew your hands off, and the police department gave you 2 new metal hands, and your job is to go with those metal hands and beat the fuck out of everything. Shatterhand.
I've never played Shatterhand. I got to check it out.
Another one that's a fucking gem. Yeah, Shatterhand is
that's awesome.
Or Kickmaster.
Oh yeah, Kickmaster.
Fucking Kickmaster. There's so many good action games on the NES. Wild ass times. I don't know about that, Rush. Maybe better than every other platformer, yes, but there's other genres too. I'll agree Mario 3 was peak. A lot of NES games kind of suck. There is a big suck ratio on the NES compared to, I mean, for sure.
Yeah.
But again, it's part of the rules about breaking. Just like we actually had some really cool Zelda 2 alikes in that era. Everybody says that Zelda 2 is a black sheep. Bullshit. People literally cross state lines to go get Zelda 2. Zelda 2 had copycat games like Clash at Demon Head, and Battle for Olympus. Incredible fucking copycat games. I don't want to hear this shit about Zelda 2 being a fucking black sheep. Clearly, you've never played Zelda 2, guys, that say that. Let's see here. Mario 2 had the same boss, a lot of Birdie or Birdo, whatever, that egg-shooting dino, but I love Mario 2. I also am a lover of Mario.
I love Mario 2 as well.
And shameless plug, if you haven't watched my review over on the Switch After Dark channel, watch my Captain Toad Treasure Tracker review. I make the argument in the case that both thematically and in design philosophy and Ludo narrative design philosophy, that Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is as close to a sequel to Super Mario Brothers 2 as we're ever going to get. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is a spiritual successor to Super Mario Brothers 2's gameplay.
Oh, that's interesting.
Let's see here. Bro, got my PS3 in the 7th grade, JG says. And then says, hey, Terps up, Sky Swords Elisa. Just talk to other people in chat. Angry Vigilante says, GameBird, you look too young to have had an NES. Never too young for NES.
Absolutely.
Let's see here. Phil One Up Collects says, never had a Dreamcast. I'd love to have one. Oh, well. Every time I think of Dreamcast, I'll tell you the game that you're going to think I'm fucking nuts. The one that comes to mind for me is always Seaman.
Oh, yeah, of
course. Just because it's such a fucking weird fucking rip,
that makes sense to me. I remember that game being advertised everywhere. I remember it on game magazines and everything. Yeah, that makes sense. For me, hey, my favorite RPG of all time is on the Dreamcast. I've been praying for a sequel or a remake. Probably will never happen. But hey, dreams come true sometimes. Yeah. Skies of Arcadia.
I hear Rush Dog mentions that game consistently too. He says it's an amazing JRPG. Fuck yeah. Sky Swords Elisa says Terps up to JG. Phil One Up says no, it does not. It does not have to be on Nintendo Online. Those games need to be purchased digitally and physically again in collections. Paying Nintendo a membership fee for old games is awful. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of NSO, but in terms of personally, but I'm glad it exists so that people have access to those games. There's some people, they're not going to buy. They might not buy a collection, but they're already going to get the Nintendo Online membership just because. Now, once again, what I hate is that what I hate is that they're being, once again, they're oppositional to one another. I hate that, but I don't think they have to be as much as, say, game key cards are with physical. So I'm okay with NSO games. Just please don't close off the possibility of a physical like Luigi's Mansion 1 just because it's on there. And I don't necessarily think that's the case. I'm hoping that's not the case, but more options is always better to me. I want there to be as many formats and options as
possible. No, and I think having retro games available to purchase on the eShop or a virtual console is always a great thing. I'll always advocate for that. But I see a lot of value in NSO, especially for like younger gamers who might be curious about stuff that came out before them, who aren't going to go out and buy a CRT TV and maybe not willing to drop $10-15 on a retro game that they have no nostalgia for. Not to mention that, like, some of the features that come with it. I remember when NSO first came out on Switch 1, and it was just the NES games. Me and my best friend, we hopped on. I was living in LA. He was living in San Diego. And, dude, we hopped on Balloon Fight online, and we're playing Balloon Fight online.
That game's a blast.
And, like, talking on the phone, laughing our asses off, and, like, it was just so cool. I would have never imagined my whole life that, like, oh, someday I'm going to play this game online in a different.
No, that game's addictive as fuck, man. That game took Joust and perfected it.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing game. Let's see. We know how bad Nintendo is with access to old games. Yeah, they can be. They're very Disney-like, and I've made that point before, and they like to put things in the vault sometimes, 100%. But, again, you know, the alternative is, let's say we only have it as a collection. I think Bird just made a great point as far as, you know, some folks are going to learn about their favorite new game or franchise because they took a chance on Earthbound. Like, for example, Earthbound, there's a lot of people not going to take a chance on buying a new Earthbound, but they might try it on that eShop. And I'm always for onboarding Mother fans. So there's a great example of what he's talking about.
More options is always better.
Yeah. Rush Dog says, you'd likely be safe if you showed your face, Zoo, but your anonymity once lost can never be gained back. Yeah, I'm not super concerned about anonymity. I'm not that spicy. But yeah, I would have to face girlfriend wrath if I showed my face, at least for now. But that said, doesn't mean I can't show up to a gathering with like a fucking ghost mask or some shit. So let's see here. Sky Sword Elisa's laughed my ass off at Bird, something that was said around 9:33 p.m. Phil One Up says, with how AI is used and what I can be used to make someone do, I'd be more scared of putting your face on there now. Oh, yeah. Prime's dealt with some of that dumb bullshit. 100%, man. We got to get back to games, Phil, this weekend. We're going to play some Dispatch for sure. We're going to get back to games, 100%. It's just been very busy business-wise. That's actually a really good point, Phil, per the AI, yeah. Then he says, right, Rush, all it takes some toxic, angry, deranged person online to use AI to make horrible videos of your likeness and post it all over socials. That said, you are getting to pretty close to a hard stop. So we will have to power through these comments. I'll do that here, read everybody else's comments together, but we're gonna send GameBird off. He's got to get out of here. Because we have old man rambled almost 3 fucking hours tonight.
I know it flew by, dude. Honestly, I've had a blast. It's flown by. I feel like it's been like 40 minutes. To be honest with you,
I hear that often. That's part of what keeps the fucking show running, man. Is so. I guess my last thing I like to do is I've grilled you all night. Do you have any questions for me before I ask my final question, which you've already kind of answered?
Yeah, man. So I guess, like, tell me a little bit more, because you opened with, like, the history. I'd love to learn a little bit more about you. I know you had a similar NES experience, but what kind of brought you over to YouTube and a little bit about your history of games? I love hearing that stuff.
Yeah,
or even like, even your favorite game. Do you have a favorite game of all time? I love hearing that.
Morrowind. Yeah, we don't have time.
Morrowind. That's right. Yeah, you mentioned that earlier.
I will absolutely. We will do a whole thing on Morrowind, and I still got to sell you on Void Stranger. We'll save that for a future.
Yeah,
we'll plan that soon. Where we'll talk. We'll definitely do a round 2 for sure. In terms of my origin story, it's Super Mario Brothers with my dad. And one of the
Sure.
things I miss about 2D Mario, and I do like the chaotic multiplayer that they do now, but I learned how to play video games by being Luigi, actually. I was player 2. And the way it used to be is one guy would take a turn until he died, and then it would shift over to player 2. Then player 2 would take their turn. I actually learned to play video games by mimicking my dad's motions in the game, watching him play and trying to do the same thing. And so I was onboarded in Super Mario Brothers 2-player mode is how I got onboarded. From there, I also discovered a couple of other games I really were drawn to, Excitebike being one. Then Zelda and Zelda 2 being the other ones I just couldn't stop playing. Me and Dad would play Contra all the time. Eventually, I discovered Dragon Quest III.
Right.
Which was my first JRPG. And at that point, it kind of became a lifelong thing.
Hell yeah.
100%. Then Sonic also solidified it. It's like I got to give Sonic his credit. With Sonic the Hedgehog, getting that Sega Genesis bundle. I got a Sega Genesis for Christmas with Spider-Man X-Men Arcade's Revenge and Sonic the Hedgehog 2 with the push buttons Genesis, the Genesis 2 was a present. Yeah. I remember trying Spider-Man X-Men Arcade's Revenge, not knowing what the fuck I was doing, getting out of that real fast and going right to Sonic 2 and throwing myself at the fucking brick wall that was Chemical Plant until I got better.
Yeah, great music in Chemical Plant, though.
My God, great Sonic's music, man.
And so I got 2 more questions for you. Your 3 favorite consoles of all time.
Ooh, that's hard actually now. 3, only 3. Switch.
Yeah, top 3. Yep.
SNES, Genesis. Sorry, sorry NES.
That's it. I mean, that's a good top 3, man. It's a good top 3. Mine is similar. I'd only swap out one. I'd swap out the Genesis, and I love the Genesis, but I'd swap it out for the PlayStation 2.
Gotcha. Yeah, the almighty DVD player, man. It was mighty.
The PS2 was a very special system. A lot of great RPGs. A lot of RPGs on that console that don't get enough love.
Shin
Rogue
Megami
Galaxy,
Tensei 3.
Shin Megami Tensei stuff. Rogue Galaxy. Shadow Hearts, a lot of really, really cool, weird RPG. A lot of, I don't know, the Onimusha series. I'm a huge fan of that started on that generation. But
yeah, I loved Onimusha Warlords when I finally played that on the Switch. Looking forward to Onimusha 2.
Yep, Onimusha 2 is great. 3 is like 3 is so good.
We're gonna get 3 though. You know that.
Yeah, we have to. And then another question: how did you end up on YouTube? What brought you over to YouTube?
YouTube was actually, it's funny enough. Like, I'm such a fucking old man that I've had YouTube channels before in various times. I typically pull the plug on them. I've got like 21 different fucking YouTube accounts, but never took it seriously. Most of the time, and it was always just my voice over a still image. That's all I ever did for the longest time. Most of my shit was writing. So I would write reviews for Super Nintendo Hub back in early 2012, 2013, 2011. I also had a blog called Flipping the Switch, which you can still find. But it's been abandoned in favor of the video format because I fell in love with making videos once I finally learned how to fucking edit. And the rest is history. Basically, I got into streaming. Live streaming's a lot of fun. Got into finally learning editing and making videos. I'm on my 4th edited review, working on the Odyssey review right now, which is going to be a special one because that's the first time I ever actually liked a 3D Mario game. Gave it an actual proper chance. And man, it's basically it's an examination of what Odyssey, not only what Odyssey in 3D Mario has always done right for the people that like it, but what Odyssey specifically did different that onboarded this fucking hater.
Very cool. Hell yeah, dude.
Alrighty, well, I guess that'll wrap up for you before I turn my attention to the comments section. But Bird, I got one last question for you here, buddy, that you've already partially answered, but got to ask it as the final question.
Hit me with it.
GameBird Classic, buddy. Did you have fun?
Dude, I had a blast, man. Have me back anytime, man. If you want to have me back, I'm always down. I do get very busy. But I love doing this sort of stuff. I love visiting other channels
We'll
and
plan
getting
it.
to
We'll
talk.
definitely plan a round two.
Yeah, man.
Won't be too far in the future, man.
Yeah, we should do. You know what? We should do a. I would love to do this. I feel like you would too. Based off of not only our conversation tonight, but having you on Nintendo Byte podcast. The few times we've been on together. I'd love to do like a hot. We should do like a hot takes episode. Just liquor it up and just dive into hot takes.
Oh God, yeah.
I feel like that would be a lot of fun.
Fuck yeah. Shit, yeah, I'd be down for that 100%. And I'm sure I'll see you guys on the Nintendo Byte again too.
Sure.
If anything too fun happens, because I know Prime likes to get a rotation going. So, yeah, he's a lot of fun too. Stash, all those guys. I'm glad to have met you all for sure.
Yeah, dude, it's a good time. We love having you on. You're always good company, and you know it's wild. I know you said you've met a lot of great people since you've been doing the YouTube thing, and that's kind of kept you coming back. I got to say the same for myself. I was very surprised, especially like being a small channel, like some of the people that I've met and how welcoming they've been. Not everyone, of course, not everybody, but I've made genuine friends in this space, and
it is incredible.
There's something special about that
of goodwill that is there. And I get bitter and I get sullen sometimes about the gaming news, but there's always people that will kind of pull me out of it a little bit. One of them's Player Essence. Nintendo Prime actually gave me a little bit of a pep talk that we had a discussion earlier today. And he had this great bit that made me laugh, made my fucking day. Because I said, hey, man, like he's like, I'm just surprised you're going to sell a system. I'm like, well, I'm not going to sell a system. It's a big if because I don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, fuck it. If there's nothing for me to fucking buy on this thing, well, why not just take $300 and make for a better night in France? He's like, buddy, if $300 is going to make or break your night in France, I got to question your financial decisions, man. And I laughed my fucking ass. Like, you know what? That's a great fucking point. What the fuck is 300? What's that buy? A bottle of fucking wine? Decentish bottle of wine there?
Yeah, brick of cheese.
So I'm like, okay, it doesn't, but that's a great point, man. So yeah, you got and you got creators large and small that are just so cool, and I love meeting them. I've met people that are, mid-sized channels like Prime, like OJ. I also talked to somebody who's like a 1 million sub channel and in the background. He's cool as fuck. And it's amazing how big people can end up getting and still maintain a decent, they kind of avoid the YouTube swallow head, which is very hard to do as an anarchist minded person. A lot of times that power or that social power goes to one's head. And that's one of the things I'm scared most of because I fucking know what a goddamn maniac I am.
Dude, you're telling me. I'm so thankful that my channel's small. Dude, I'd sell out like that.
No, dude.
I love that. I like the attention and the validation. It's funny. Angry Vigilante was on like in the chat earlier. And when he first kind of appeared in the space, he clipped me a couple times and I was like, holy shit. Like I got clipped on someone. I'm like, no one. I mean, I must have been like, at least like, I don't even have 3,000 subs yet. I must have been at least 800 to 1,000 less than I have now when he clipped me. But he clipped me like 2 or 3 times. I was like, holy shit. I'm like, and obviously it's like was making fun of one of my takes or something like that. But I was like, dude, this is so sick. So then, like, I'd go out of my way to hopefully try and end up on his channel again. And then he said on one of his videos, he's like, dude, he's like, what are you talking about, Birdie? I'm starting to feel like you like the attention. And then like in the next podcast, I'm like, yeah, I'm just doing this for the attention. I really like the attention. Please validate me.
No, Vigilante. So Vigilante's great. Like I did the thing I did with Prime and Player Essence where I kind of mended them when they had a little bit of a spat. We got them all. I got them on Liquored Up Live. We all had a bro hug.
Yeah,
it was great. Tried to do that with Player Essence and Vigilante. Didn't quite work out the way I wanted
sure.
to. But it doesn't always work out. But what I will say is Vigilante's a great Vigilante.
He's very nice. Him and I have talked on and off like in DMs, and he's always been very kind and respectful. And I had him on my channel, and I told him, I'm like, we're not going to do a debate, but let's do a discussion. And I think you'll be surprised, probably certain things that that we'll get along on.
Right.
And we had a great discussion, dude. So I don't know how familiar like everyone is, because again, a small channel, but I do really weird skits. If you guys have watched the Nintendo Bite podcast, I made the intro that's super weird with the pelvic thrust lasers and meditative milk.
The greatest intro in podcast history, and I say that as an eye patch wolf fan.
Hey man, I appreciate it. But I told him, I was like, hey dude, so you're gonna be on my channel. I do weird intros sometimes, and I have an idea for a skit. Can you do a skit? And dude, he did it. Like, I gave him lines. I was like, these are the lines I want you to say. This is the theme, and he did it. And so it was like, to me that was super cool.
There's something about watching a group of people just have uninhibited fun where they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
There's something to that is just magical.
Yeah.
In this age of just hyper
tribalism.
Yeah, not only tribalism, but just hyper image sensitivity and
yeah.
Shit. And that's one thing I always say. I don't give a shit what anybody says. I'm me. And either love me or you hate me, and hopefully more people love me than hate me. If they not, that's cool too.
I care deeply, but I'll never show it.
You got to be like Garfield, right? You just
right.
Like, look at Garfield. He's lackadaisical. He's lazy. He's overweight, but he doesn't give a shit. And everybody's perceived problem that perceive his problems. That's not his problem. That's your problem. And
right.
that's how Garfield goes through fucking life. And so I feel like deep down we all want to be Garfield, but it's some aspirational shit, honestly. But it's hard to get there because there's a lot of social pressures.
Absolutely.
But all right, man. Well, thanks again for coming on, buddy. You can exit anytime, and I will finish up the chat, and I'll take on these Germans my damn self.
Hell yeah. Thanks again for having me. Everyone in the chat, thanks for welcoming me. I hope you guys have a fantastic night. Stick around for Zoo's Chat Fest, and hopefully I'll see you all soon. Bye, guys.
Take care, buddy. You definitely be back on. Take care now.
Cheers.
All righty. Let's see now. Well, I have an obligation, chat, and that is to read all the chats. Every chat here is a super chat. So let's see. Phil What Up Collect says, they aren't my games, Zoo. You can keep the CDI. It should be called CD Cry. I like that. CD Cry is good. The book in Link to the Past doesn't have your combat spells. The combat spells are different items, the medallions. Oh, fuck. Have I been misremembering that this whole time? That's weird, because it's possible. I haven't played Link to the Past in many years at this point, but God, that's weird, because I beat Link to the Past, God, probably every bit of 15, 16 times. So I'm not going to say you're wrong. That's just that's giving me a little cogniz there, man. I'll check into that. But usually when you have a correction, usually you're pretty spot on. So, man, that's throwing me, though. Let's see here. Demon Souls fascinated me. Also, Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII, Chrono Trigger, Chrono Cross, Legend of Dragoon, pretty much most of the games on PS1 blew me away. So Phil One Up Collects, another one who's also saying for PS1. Dank Ming Center said, is that GameBird from the Nintendo Bite podcast? It very much was, Dank. What's going on, man? Welcome in. Phil One Up Collects says, probably because I came from NES, SNES, had no idea games could be in 3D. So booting up Crash is my first PS1 game. Not knowing I could move Crash because I still thought I was watching a cutscene was crazy. Yeah, a lot of people have some fond memories of Crash. Sky Sword Elisa says, my game, LOL. Talk about Expedition. Expedition 33 is so good. Then says, same GameBird. It's a very deep story. Yeah, I'm going to have to check this out, Elisa. Definitely going to have to check it out. I will find a way to do it. Gamer Classic says, the music moves me in that game. And then Dude for Real Birdman, Elisa says. Phil One Up Collects says that Breath of the Wild was the game that fascinated you out of all the years of gaming. You got to play more games. It's good, but I played a lot of open world so I wasn't that impressed. So for me, Phil, part of what the appeal of Breath of the Wild was the fact that I had suffered from my perspective, as like a OG Zelda 1 fan. I like OG Zelda 1, Zelda 2, and Link to the Past. So the pre-3D Zelda games. I had never seen anybody try to fulfill the legacy of OG Zelda 1 in quite the way that Breath of the Wild did. And so that's what it did it for me. That's why I was so impressed. Sky Sword Elisa says, LOL. As far as the Steam machine goes, I'm with Zoo. I'll just use a 20-foot HDMI cord to my living room TV for my PC if I want to play my Steam games, LOL. But it is cool to have that option in competition. 100%. Competition is always best. It's good to have competition to keep them all honest. Play my Steam games out at my desk, that is. Yeah, that's part of it for me is I can play PC games, but I don't like playing at the desk if I can get away from it, right? Fill It Up Collect says, yeah, but those sequels to Final Fantasy suck hard, so we should like totally disregard them. Sky Sword Elisa says, Calamity Ganon was such a bummer. Oh, not you too, Elisa. Have I sold anybody on Calamity Ganon? I got to him the first time in Breath of the Wild, but with the inclusion of Tears of the Kingdom, it makes more sense. And I accept it more, but I wish he had a better design. Yeah, instead of like the big pig storm. Like the wild boar storm. Rush Dog says, I hear what you're saying. My point is you can't slam a Zelda game like Tears of the Kingdom just for being a direct sequel. Direct Zelda sequels. Oh, okay. Yeah. Can and have been done well. Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying there. Yeah. Fill One Up Collects and what? Wouldn't you just buy them on PC digital? It's cheaper. Don't cost as much. And you've got multiple devices. You can play them on Steam Deck PC. Why put it on Switch 2 when it's a locked ecosystem? I think there's some real taste there, Phil. I don't think you're wrong there. It's just I prefer handheld gaming, and I prefer it on a console. So if I can get it physically on Switch, I want to get it physically on Switch. If I can't, then I might look at things like digital gaming on the PC, especially if I can get it on Good Old Games or itch.io, something like that, right? Phil says, okay, what's the problem with that? Who cares if you get left behind, LOL? If you've got enough games, you'll be good. And Phil, I do agree with you completely there. That's why I told GameBird, it's like, well, and if I don't move on, I don't move on. I've made peace with that, right? Angry Vigilante says, I don't think the game being at $70 was a shocker, but being put on a game key card was a huge shocker. I was honestly shocked at both. I did not expect that to be $70. Did not expect it on a game key card, but it's been a week of surprises and not the good kind. Phil One Up Collect says the older games in a lot of ways are better anyways. True. Also, we can have other hobbies outside of gaming. True. So I'm good. I'll save a lot of money that way. Digital on everything, not PC, isn't great. Consoles, or are, he says. Yeah. Consoles aren't there yet until they give you the same options digitally that PC has with crazy good discounts and bundles, or can preserve digitally like GOG, and then I don't care. That's fair, Phil. I do think that's one of the problems with the closed ecosystem is the lack of deals and the lack of alternatives. And so, yeah, in terms of why PC accepted digital more readily, I think that's a big part of it. Yeah. So Phil says, thing is, dude, you've got a massive collection of physical games that will outlive you, so you could never buy another new game and still have plenty to play. True. That's why I'm not so worried about if I don't move on. We don't need to buy new games. Honestly, we want to. Yes, that is true. I do want to, but I don't need to. I can't play the ones I got. And just because you don't buy a new game because it's only digital doesn't mean you have to abandon the hobby. Just play your physical collection, LOL. Angry Vigilante Show says, I hate what game key cards stand for. They use them to save money, but still want to have us pay full prices for them. Great point, Vigilante. So if game key cards are going to be an empty digital download, then there should be some kind of savings passed on to the customer. So I do get that, yeah. Phil says, no, Zoo, it would still be bad because when you can't connect to the server because unnecessary e-waste, why would you buy a key card over digital or real physical? It's a product for no one. It's not a product for me, but the game key card game come on, you can't say it's a product for no one now. I wish it was. That's what I said at the beginning. But they definitely have their audience, right? And again, I want them to be happy, but I just hate that the fact that the game keycard's prospering seems to mean that I'm going to get less digital, physical games. And if the choice is between me and the game keycard gang, I'm going to go with me. That's just me advocating for my own happiness. It's nothing personal against game keycard gang. It's just that I would prefer the physical games. So I do hope game keycards fail because they're adversarial in nature, because it would lead to hopefully more physical games. Now, that's not necessarily true either. Maybe they just abandoned the Switch too. But again, I'm not a fucking Nintendo shareholder, so that's not my fucking problem. Everybody should advocate for their own happiness. That includes game keycard fans and physical fans. Phil One Up Collect says, I think all Pokemon games are vastly overpriced, but Poke PP or whatever it's called is $40 at best. $40, I think, is a good price point for that game, as far as what I would be willing to pay, but who knows, right? Fantasy Life actually has a Switch 2 physical version. I know, and that was before I was planning on even having anything to do with Switch 2, so I have the Fantasy Life Switch 1 version. But that said, I don't think there's a huge difference, so I'm gonna stick with that unless it's awful to play. Angry Vigilante Show says, I think the game should be a $30, maybe $40 eShop title. I still would like it to be physical, and I would be willing to pay $40. Fuck, I might even pay $50 if it had a real physical. But yeah, I'm not paying $70, and I'm not paying for a fucking game key card. Phil One Up Collect says she should have her spaceship fully controlled with upgrades, Samus, used to travel to different planets and spaceship battles. The fact she doesn't when she's a space bounty hunter is wild, bro. Dude, that was the plan. The plan for Samus in Metroid Prime 3 before Sakamoto got involved, and he was mad because he's like, she's not a mercenary, she's a hero. And there was this huge crybaby fit he fucking threw. And Retro Games tells the story. They were going to have her in a ship that had space-to-space battles in between the worlds, and Metroid Prime 3 would have her go into different worlds using the spaceship to collect bounties. That was the whole fucking game. That would have been awesome. Sky Swords Elisa says, I will also be mad and just upset. I don't understand why not promoting something more or try to explain what it is to more people, especially when you sink so much money into it. Yeah, what is that, Elisa? Going on 8 fucking years development cycle now? Like, put some fucking oomph behind that shit. Put some pep in that step, right? Welcome in, CPT Bacon 35. Welcome in. They've done my Samus dirty. I do not expect a direct for Prime 4. Oh, I know. But I hope we get one. I want to see more. They can't do that, Sky. They're too busy trying to explain to you what a key card is while talking to you like a 5-year-old, and you should totally buy it. Yo, Bacon, what's up? I'm scared, but I still have hope. Elisa says, me too. Got to hold out hope, right? It's all we have. I'd love to play a Zelda game where Ganon is the chosen hero and Link is the villain. That would be neat. Ooh, I would like Bowser and Ganon to both get spin-off games. I will say that. Sky Sword Elisa says, true, that was so annoying in Phantom Hourglass. And then also Switch 2 editions, please. ALBW. A Link Between Worlds, okay. I would, God, please bring A Link to the Worlds in some form to Switch. God, it's such a great game, man. A Link Between Worlds surpassed A Link to the Past for me. I would not argue with you there. It's really fucking good. We need more Vadi. We do. Absolutely. That is truth. Or however you spell. But I think you got it right. I think it's Vadi. And funnily enough, I remember that because of Vadi Vidya, the Dark Souls lore guy. Phil One Up Collect says, like, maybe there's a game where Ganon and Link get body swapped, like how it happened with Surge and Chrono Cross. The whole game where you're Link in Ganon's body and everyone hates it and is scared of you. Ooh, and then, yeah, Bacon says like a Freaky Friday concept. That might be good, yeah. They're making garbage key cards and increasing the prices of their games. Tell us how you really feel, buddy. And lowering quality on several IPs like Pokemon. Why should I support that? It's the opposite of Switch. They need slapped. I don't disagree with you on that, man. I don't. Well, Pokemon has been low quality the whole Switch gen, but you get my point. Point taken. Yeah, it's a lot of people are upset about the new Pokemon for sure. All my GameCube controllers have drift. Ooh, never fun, Bacon. Donkey Kong Country Trilogy. Oh, yeah. Donkey Kong Country 2 is probably one of my favorite games of all time. I adore that game. I even find a lot of pleasure in Donkey Kong Country 3. I think that game is underrated. Just somebody muzzle Kiddy Kong so he can't go, ah, when he dies, like the fucking, God, that went all through me. There was something about late game SNES and the fucking sound effects and voice acting that was just nails on a chalkboard to me, man. This ants in a fucking picnic. But aside from Kiddy Kong, I have to deduct an entire 1.5 for Donkey Kong Country 3 was great. Donkey Kong Country 2 is literally top 50 game for me. And Donkey Kong Country 1 is where it all started and was terrific too. So, yeah. They absolutely hold up well. Engraved Ring of Healing says OG Metroid has no guardrails. None. Fuck, not only does OG Metroid have no fucking guardrails, it literally will walk up behind you and shove you off the fucking ledge, man. Bacon says Metroid 2 was rough as well, with limited continues. True. Battletoads. Yeah. Anybody who says that games are hard or says, oh, this is the Dark Souls of gaming, point them toward fucking Battletoads, man. That game is a nightmare. Still has one of the best pause music tracks up there with NES Gunsmoke for pause tracks and Battletoads. Fucking great. Right up there with Gunsmoke's like NES had fucking pause music on lock. Let's see. Phil One Up Collect says that is true. Nintendo still has single player, so we can give them that. They just announced a Horizon MMO for mobile and PC, not for the PlayStation 5. What is going on, LOL? More typical Sony shenanigans, Phil. Also, they're rolling out a Ratchet and Clank mobile multiplayer game. Yuck. Yeah, it's pretty gross. I put over 100 hours in Helldivers, got bored from a lack of content. Yeah, I feel like live service games just, I have that same thing, Bacon, where they're just not, they're not long-term sustainable for me either as a gamer, right? R.I.P. Iwata. Yeah, Iwata was the GOAT, man. Bacon says, I played the crap out of Zelda 2 as a kid. Same here, man. Zelda 2 is so good. Steak 1024 has the eagle for GameBird. What's up, Steak? Welcome in. Glad you were able to join us. Said, yo, Steak. Steak saying hi back, playing nice. Then we got Phil. You're right, Zoo. It is a product for someone. That someone being delusional Nintendo fanboys, LOL, which that might be true. But that being said, I think that's everything. We're going to wrap it up. This has been one for the ages. This will bring us into the weekend where we'll probably stream some more Ditch Patch on the main channel. And then hopefully this weekend I can find the motivation to get that Mario Odyssey review done on the Switch After Dark channel. If you guys haven't watched any of those reviews, I urge you to. It's the best work I've ever done. And I'm not trying to toot my horn. I think there's much better reviews and videos out there, but I'm proud of them. So, yeah, definitely give those a view if you want. If not, that's okay too. And hopefully I'll see you around for the next one. I'm not sure who we'll have on next, but I'm sure someone will come in for a visit in the bar. And by the way, anybody in the chat here, whether it's Elisa, whether it's Bacon, whether it's Steak, Phil knows this well. He's been on the show several times. Dank Meme Center. If you guys ever want to be on and you want to have a discussion, I'm open to having a discussion with anybody. I can talk about this fucking hobby with anybody, man. So I will reach out. Yeah, I always like to meet people. So if that's going to do it for me, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I love y'all. Go have a great rest of your night, whatever's left of it. Let's get the fuck out of here now. Take care. See everybody later.